Cheers, queers! What's on the big gay agenda today, Theora?
Today we are continuing what is surely to be our epic scene-by-scene breakdown of Pluto, the series. Woo!
Woo!
And today we'll
And of
be... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
sorry, of course we had to break episode 1 into 2 parts. Usually we at least get the first episode in one episode, so that's saying a lot about this entire show's coverage.
And what to expect going forward. So yeah, as Caitlin said, we're going to be picking up where we left off with the second half of episode 1 and see how far we get. So that's the plan. All right.
We should probably just get into it.
All right, so where do we pick up? So we pick up with we pick up with me being tired. We pick up with May and I having their conversation. So how does that go, Caitlin?
Yeah, so we have moved from the awkward circling in the foyer to May and I talking on the couch. And May first catches I slip up because, I is not good at really pretending to be
No,
and
she's really bad at
multiple
it.
times throughout this episode.
She's so bad. It's
because
so bad. She gets
I
worse
only
as
nods responding to May. So May explains that she just got back and didn't expect to see visit her so soon. Now, we know that there's a lot more shit that's like in the background here, but sure, we're gonna go with that. So I just nods. Girl, yeah, it's just, no. So May's like, are you still there? And laughs when I's like, I forgot. Because of course you did, because you're just coming into all of this. But it is funnier because we know that May knows that this is I. Did that sentence make sense?
Yeah.
May now knows that this is I. So it's funnier that she's laughing at I saying, I forgot, and trying to pretend to be her sister because she's probably enjoying this.
Oh my god, no. I think May has so much fun with I cosplaying because I is, like you said, really bad at it. Like, she gets progressively lazier with her disguise as we go on, and I'll point out. And so, like, it must be super entertaining for May to be like, okay, I, like, sure.
Entertaining for her, exhausting for I. Could you imagine having to be a completely different person who's related to you 24/7 with this person that you're falling for?
And whom you are the complete opposite of. Like, I is completely different from So yeah, it is very hard. And you'll see she's not good at it. And she slips up quite a bit, even in this, like, their first meeting, which is adorable, but really funny. So, okay, so... But to be fair to I, like, and even like, I doesn't know this, but and May were on the outs at this point, so, like... I think would have forgotten too. May was blind because they didn't really interact a ton. So, but anyway, yeah, it is funny from May's perspective. But anyway, so May just said she got back from Jammu, is where she said, which is like a territory of India. So this was part of her International Lawyers Association that she joins, and we'll learn about a little bit later. So she was on basically like an advocacy mission for, like, disabled rights. Which, I love that they wrote this into the show because it's really great. So that's what she was doing. So she was off being a hero somewhere, basically. And then she comes back to, like, twin shenanigans, basically. Which, if you read this whole thing from May's point of view, it's more wild than the other ones. Because, like, she's like, oh, look, there's I. But anyway, so... But from I's perspective, like, if you think about it, like, she's walking into this scenario and has had, nobody briefed her on this mission. So she didn't know May was a woman, and then she didn't know she was a blind woman. So, like, she's trying, like, poor I's just trying to figure out what the hell her sister's life even is in this moment. And so, like, yeah, she does slip up and nods as a response. Which is, like, understandable from I's point of view, considering she knew none of this.
But 5 minutes ago.
She literally found out 5 minutes ago. Exactly. So, valid. But what I do love about I in this scene, and what I think is significant, is that she really quickly accommodates her behavior based on what May needs. So, she doesn't slip up like this again going forward. Like, she's very much like, oh, oops, sorry. And then she's very quick to like give May other signals, like vocally or with touch, like going forward, because she knows that May can't see her, which also works out to Ai's favor later when she's like gay staring at her constantly, and she's like, she can't see me. As well, taking the view. And it's like, girl, if
That
only
is
May,
the
if only she
a
could
huge
see.
benefit of being into someone who's blind and like just being into them and just meeting them.
I could just stare at you all I want. And she really does. Like, imagine, I keep watching this and thinking, like, what if the maid was on, like, more friends with May and, like, they were conspiring and the maid was like, girl, the way she stares at you, I think you're good. Because the maid
That's
sees
a good point.
I being terrible at being home. Anyway, so other thing is that, like, that we get from this conversation is that May says, oh, don't worry about it, because we haven't spent a heck of a lot of time together since I went blind. So that's another like piece of the puzzle for us of the what the fuck was and May's relationship. So naturally, like, if you watch her face goes on a journey that was all of us watching this for the first time thinking, what the fuck, you broke up with this woman because she was blind? Because that statement implies that they hung out a lot before May was blind and then left when she turned blind, which paints
like,
as a
that's too
terrible
much.
person. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're just like, what? Who? Like, okay, and then I had a lot of questions about at this stage, like the first time I watched it, and I think I is having similar thoughts because I just wonder how, like, going into this mission, who's kind of been on the outs with since they were children, is now like trying to cosplay her again when she knows even less about her sister's life as an adult, and she finds all this shit out. And I just wonder how much time I really spends spiraling about and just like throughout the whole series, thinking like, I imagine she would just be like, who the fuck is my sister? Like, what else don't I know about you? Because, like, I'm learning all these things and they don't fit the I knew from the past. Like, who is my sister now, you know?
That's kind of like a recurring thing in the entire show, even when she learns more and, like, understands more. This person has always been a stranger. They've all been a stranger to each other in that house.
Yes. Yeah, that's part of the problem. They're all strangers. But like, and so it's a good way to kind of show like, and this happens like when you become an adult and you're not as like interdependent on your siblings and family as you used to be, and you kind of like grow apart. This isn't a very extreme, strange version of that, but like that's kind of like something that you can kind of relate to as a human that's not living in a Thai drama, to be like, yeah, you get to a point where you're like, I really don't know what's going on in my siblings' life because I'm not in it 24/7, but like,
especially
imagine finding all this out.
Communicate that often too.
Huh?
Especially when you don't communicate that often too, because I'm assuming was always on a flight somewhere, and
right.
I mean, Grandma was there, but they didn't seem to really. No one talked to I.
No, that's the theme. Nobody talks to I. Like, I is left out of all of the conversations involving her in the series. But yeah, no, like as an adult, even if you're like living under the same roof, like you live independent lives at that point, and it's like you're not going to know what deals with at work because you're not with her. And so, but yeah, to find out all this and be like, who the fuck is my sister? You know,
I have to say, this show does paint as a terrible person until episode 11.
Because yeah, you don't get perspective at all. You're just getting I trying to put these pieces together, and I at this point still has that animosity towards and that biases the way she views So if her and had a much tighter like sibling bond and then found the secret out about her, I don't think we would get the same feeling towards because I's feelings towards would be different. This is all still I's point of view of everything, when she really doesn't know her sister, and all she knows is that my sister's selfish and two-faced, like we heard from the wedding. So like that's painting how we kind of see Also, we don't know what the hell's going on either. And just to put these things together is really funny from I's point of view, because the poor woman is just like, and like she's again spiraling, who is my sister? And then she also has to cosplay her in front of like this girl. So like poor I has a lot going on in this scene, is my point.
This is a good point to plug our reaction videos over on Patreon, because oh boy is it a joy to go back and watch, even for me, because we sound so stupid. Rightfully so, because that's what we're led to believe. But once you know what's going on, our reactions are ridiculous. We're so mean to
This show's great. Listen, again, I will die in the hill. I have unresolved feelings about once we get Oom's point of view, and they'll never be resolved because poor Oom.
Yes.
But yeah, what a bad rap she gets. So, all right. So in the scene, after I starts thinking to herself, wow, my sister ditched May because she was blind. What a demon. I then like gives May a quick like once over. Like she's quickly appraising May, and then she reaches out. If you watch, I is so awkward in this episode, and I love it. She tries to reach out to like pat May's hand, like that's her instinct, because again, blind woman can't see like her expression, so she's like, okay, I got to do something else to comfort her. So she tries to like reach out to like hold her hand and basically be like, there, it's okay, with like physical touch, but hesitates a ton before she does this. And I think there's a few reasons for that. One, I think the gay got her so bad that I is like scared of touching May, and like those feelings that she just had a minute ago coming back and like losing control of her emotions, which is new territory for I, the 30-year-old, okay? But I as somebody will come to see that's like love starved, touch starved, and like is a naturally physically intimate person, but has been denied that for a very long time. So she like wants to touch this person that needs to be comforted, right? So she does do it. Like she hesitates about it, but then she eventually does like make physical contact with May here, because I think I empathizes with the fact that like May is kind of on her own, and I has felt that for a really long period of time, and so she like wants this other person to feel supported. So again, this is another instance of I like willingly sacrificing what she wants for the people she cares about, because she doesn't really want to get entangled in this emotional thing with her sister's girlfriend. But like here she is kind of going through with it because like May is a sad puppy in the scene basically, and I was like, okay, sorry puppy, there we go.
Because how can you resist a puppy?
Exactly, you cannot. And if you can, you need therapy.
Who are you?
Something's not okay. Something's wrong. Get help.
You need therapy.
Yeah. Oh my god, fucking YouTube. It's also worth noting that this moment here, this little hand pat thing, this is the first time I is the one that makes the first move to initiate physical contact. So like hydrate for lesbian Jesus. Good job, you're getting to the lesbian game real fast. Proud of you. No one prepped her for this.
You're getting to the lesbian game real fast.
She's doing great. You're doing amazing, sweetie.
You're doing amazing, baby gay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. And then, all right. So like in conjunction with the physical contact to comfort May, I also says, I'm here with you right now. Like, it's okay. And I, who has no idea what's going on because no one tells her anything, doesn't realize that she just said the magic words to May. Which is I'm here now, because like from May's point of view, she hears, yes, the woman I've been in love with my whole life is right here, right now. What a magical moment for May, who's been on this journey to find this particular person, not the twin that looks like her, but this person. So of course that prompts May to make her move, because she can.
This whole scene, yeah, May is saying but she is definitely talking to I.
Yes.
Because she says, can you please not disappear on me again? Yeah. And first of all, ouch. Because, again, it's valid to think that I would think that disappeared on her because...
because she was blind.
Like, and she was literally getting married to someone else.
Literally. Okay? Yes.
But it was I who actually disappeared from May's life.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't aware of it. It's not her fault. But she's the one who disappeared.
Yep.
Oh, man. And then when May makes her move on I, the panic. It's a new level of gay panic that comes across I's face. Like,
this is so funny.
I imagine the inner workings of her brain, like, oh my god, I want this, but I can't want this. What is going on? What, she's getting closer to me? Oh my god, what do I do? It turns into a gay disaster instead.
Oh my god.
I knocks the candle off the table. Okay, so I want to just talk about this small second of a thing. So somehow the glass breaks. Because I did pause this to make sure that there was glass on the candle because I thought it was just a wax candle and there wasn't glass. And I'm like, why are we hearing glass breaking? No, there is a
Yeah.
glass on the candle.
Outside the candle, yeah.
But again, nothing catches fire. Okay, maybe plausible that maybe it went out as it's falling. Okay, maybe. But also, we do not hear glass break. We hear a thump. So it definitely did not shatter. Just saying.
They could have added that in post as like a sound effect.
They definitely added what was already there.
I'm just really surprised she didn't start a fire by accident, because like what an epic meeting if she started a fire in May's house. Though.
Honestly, I think that would just intensify the gay disaster of what this scene is right now.
Seriously.
Just like a small fire, not anything that's gonna become too big.
She doesn't have to take out half of Bangkok. Like, it could just be like she burned the corner of this rug and the maid comes in with a fire extinguisher, is like, and like, it's like, fucking ooh.
It's just because the sound effects don't line up, too.
Yeah.
I'm like, is she pretending like the glass broke and like that's her excuse to like get off the couch and everything? And
well, listen, I needed to get out of that situation because, like, okay, it's not just that May is like talking all being like, you're finally here and like all this stuff, and she's like, why don't you answer me and talk to me or kiss me or whatever? But she's like pouncing on I basically, and I is just like leaning as far back off this couch as she possibly can while May is like closing the distance. And so she's trying to like get out of this without leaving the girl. You could have just got up, like. But anyway.
But also, can we just talk about from May's point of view right now whether this is I or she can't see what I is doing right now.
I know.
So all she knows is this person's pulling away. All of a sudden, there's a thump.
And then I'm pretty sure I's like, shit. She gets up.
Yeah, she's not able to see the gay disaster of I right now.
I wish she could. It's so
she's
good.
just trying to get close to I again and doing all these things, but she can't really see how I is. Well, she can't see it all, but she can't tell how I is feeling about all of this because obviously I doesn't know how she's feeling, so she can't communicate it. She can't communicate what she actually feels anyway because she's not I.
I know. Now. It's just so messy and
so
funny.
Complicated. I love it. It's amazing.
But truly, like, it is an actual crime that May can't see I's facial expressions during the scene, because that would have solved 99% of their problems going forward, because May would see how gay I is for her, and then, like, the gay panic on her face, like, would be like, okay, you are into me. I knew it.
Oh, she is so into you.
It's so ridiculous.
I don't think she fully understands it yet, though.
She does not. There's a lot happening in the scene for I, like we've established. But anyway, so then when the candle incident happens, I is like, well, fuck, I've been here 3 seconds and I'm already almost causing a fire. Let me, like, fix this. So she gets up to, like, clean it up and cuts her hand. And
so the glass definitely did break. It wasn't just a thing for her to get off the couch.
Yeah, it definitely breaks. And she goes to, like, pick up the pieces. And then May, who still doesn't know what's going on, is like, where'd you go? Because at this point, she could feel that got off the couch because of the weight distribution. But then when she cuts her hand, like, yelps. And then that's when May's like, okay, something's wrong. And she stands up to go get air quotes. But there's glass everywhere, and the bitch can't see. So I has to stop her. And it, again, says a lot about I. I is a very, like, protective person. Like, that's kind of her role that she adopts a lot of the times. You see her being the big sister when it comes to and, like, being the, family support person. And, like, here she is with May, this person she just met, like, 5 minutes ago, having big feelings for. And immediately she's like, no. And you see her body language where she, like, physically stops May from, like, going any forward. Like, that was all I's instinct to do that, is to just, like, protect this person. So may I present more protective girlfriend behavior, Your Honor, for I, because that's kind of who she is. And, like, already, and they literally just met, quote, for the first time in I's brain.
In forever. In May's brain. The first time in forever. Anyway, so May then helps I out by addressing her wound. So I also takes on that caregiver personality where I is protective, May wants to just help. And I feel like those two really go well together. I mean, that's why, I mean, they love each other.
They're just very complimentary in their behavior, and they're both supportive to each other in their own way, which is the mark of a healthy relationship going forward. So already like their things are going off on a good foot with them when it's just like them being them. Because in this scene, I's not really because like this her cutting her hand had nothing to do with Like this was I fucking up the candle and then like trying to fix it. And then here's May being like, let me just clean that for you. This is a very much they're in the present moment of what's happening in the present, which is like nothing to do with really. So which is significant in this little interaction. But they don't just like fix it right then and there. May is like, oh my God, you're hurt. Let's go out by the pool. Why we had to go out by the pool to do this, I'm not sure. But when they get out to the pool, I think May is probably like, I's never been here. Let me just show off my wealth. So I'll bring her to the pool. Because I mean,
or show her everything so she knows how to pretend to be at each place.
That's actually a good thought, because I was trying to figure out when they get outside, the first aid kit's already sitting out there. So like, why was the first aid kit sitting by the pool? It doesn't make sense for it to live there all the time. So I imagine they had to go get it. So you're right. They probably did a tour. Maybe probably took her on a tour throughout the house to be like, and this is my bedroom. Remember, we have to go past my bedroom to get to the bathroom that has the first aid kit. And like, she's probably taking I around the whole, by then her fingers are healed, but like, they've probably taken her everywhere. And now we're at the pool. I remember the pool. I mean, And I was like,
I just love that we have to change locations for each conversation.
I love it.
I mean, one, yes, for the show to keep it interesting with different location, since it's such a long period of just them two talking.
Yeah.
But also, like, no. Well, there's glass here now, so they do have to move.
Yeah, no, they definitely had to move from the couch because, like, the maid comes in to clean it up and all that kind of stuff, and you don't want people cutting themselves or getting in the way. So, yeah, they had to relocate. They could have, like, sat on the other chair. Like, why were they going? They were at the end. They're like, pool. We got to go by the pool. Because, which is interesting, because usually in a Child Porn Night novel, we go to water when we're sad. And this is not a sad scene. This is a happy scene.
Just unless saying. You find it sad that I's having to be right now. And that she's hurt.
That is true. So let's get into that. So why are we here? We're here because May insists on dressing I's wound herself. And her rationale is that she's like, listen, I want to take care of my girlfriend. And I, who's like, having a lot of confusing feelings right now, is like, still at the end of the day. She's somebody who's used to being self-reliant. She's like, no, that's cool. Like, I got it. And May gets offended because she feels like I is saying, you don't think I can do this because I'm blind? Which basically is what she said. And like, ouch. From May's point of view, because, as we'll come to learn going forward, May really struggles with people putting her in a box because of her disability. And she always is worried that people either treat her differently because they feel bad for her and they're like, oh, poor soul, like, sure, whatever. And they humor her rather than believe she's capable of doing things because of she's May, not because of her disability. And so then to feel like this with on their first meeting, in this scenario, that has to sting from May's point of view, because that's one of her big fears with right? Is that is gonna like pity her and all this kind of stuff. And she's been like dying to be in I's presence again. And so like I feel like that must have stung a little bit when she had that feeling.
Probably.
Yeah, but like kudos to because I very quickly is like, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Because, like, again, is used to taking care of herself and is not used to being supported whatsoever. So for somebody to even offer that, I feel like I thought what May was thinking was like, oh, you want to help me out of pity? I can do this myself. So, like, I feel like they were having the same thought in this conversation, which is kind of interesting.
I mean, to your point of her doing everything for herself in life, she doesn't know how to let other people in like that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Because she really couldn't. I mean, again, the family situation is very complicated, but she's very to herself. She doesn't want to be a burden on anyone. And this is her feeling like she's being a burden to May because, oh, now she has to take care of my finger when I could just do it and she doesn't have to deal with it.
Yeah, and I think that for it was like she was forced into this behavior, as we'll see when it comes to how her family stuff kind of played out. And it's not that she doesn't want to be supported, it's just that she was denied it for so long. And I don't think she knows how to accept it or recognize it. But she does want that. So I think this moment with May, like she eventually like kind of yields to what May wants, which is to take care of her because deep down, like, I just wants to be loved. And so I think this moment is very significant for her. And you can see it on her face. Like, it's on her face how, like, magical this moment is for her. Because I think this is the first time in a really long time where I felt genuinely loved as herself. Even though, yes, she's cosplaying for sure. But again, this is a moment where, like, I's fingers cut, not and like May is helping and this has nothing to do with So, and it's very easy to shed the disguise in this scene. So I think that I feels that like, oh, this person wants to take care of me because she cares about me, melts inside. Because like that's all I's ever really wanted. And like here it is. So what a significant moment for I.
And then we get May actually bandaging I up. And a song plays in the background. A song that I have to bring up because every single time I get to this point in the episode, I hear a particular song that was on the radio for so long. So I need someone else to validate me by agreeing that this song, Under the Scene, sounds exactly like Love on the Rain by Rihanna. And you got me like
So I'd never heard this before, and I went and I read your notes, and I was like, what is this song? And yeah, the melody and like the instrumental soundtrack. So this is that instrumental soundtrack in Pluto that plays a lot throughout the show. I think it's one of their just like soundtracks that they have. It's not like an OST or anything that I'm aware of. But the instrumental does sound exactly like the same instrumental in the Rihanna song you referenced. So question is Rihanna a GMMTV fan? Because that song came out before Pluto. She's like, take my instrumental track, lesbians, have fun.
Or something else happened. But I lined it up too and played both at the same time. I'm like, I swear that these are the same. So if you play it at the right time, it literally matches up.
Yeah, the same instrumental music.
Something's there.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the scene. So I does stop May when her finger starts hurting, which prompts May to ask if she can handle the pain. Okay, so I know you say that I has learned and like starts using physical touch, but she hasn't learned from 10 minutes ago because she doesn't verbally respond. And this is the reason why. I mean, obviously her hand's still with her. But if you look at her face, this is a face of a woman that's falling hard and falling fast.
Yes.
She looks so relaxed around May in general. You see her guard up with everybody else in life, even when she's talking to friends. Like, she's just more stone-faced, whereas she looks so light here. And she still doesn't say anything. She's just sitting there staring at May because, pretty woman. Yeah. And she finally shakes herself out of the lesbian Jesus bubble and stands up. Because sitting with the pretty lady you want to touch is not helping the situation of you being speechless.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But let's dive a little bit more into this the nurse scene that is this scene. So, like, to your point, if you just look at her, just look at I's face. So the other piece of that too is, yes, she's falling hard and fast. So like, if I, in her brain at this point, had any doubt of breaking up with May on behalf, that goes out the window after the scene. Which, you know, if there's any inkling of like, yes, I'm gonna go through with this for it's gone in this scene. Like, there's no way I is willingly breaking up with May after this scene. Because just look at her face. Like, again, this was like the best gift anybody ever could have given her. Because like all this woman wants is to just be cared for and loved. And like, here's May offering that willingly without being asked. She offered to do it. And so like best gift ever. And just I's smile during this whole scene is so adorable, because I think the other thing is that I feel seen by May, which is ironic because May can't actually see at this point in time, but I can tell that May sees her like through her actions, like taking care of her, meaning. Other thing I want to point out is just shout out to film in this scene. Like, film did so much workshopping. There's a lot of BTS stuff of like film practicing like doing things blind essentially as an actor, and she did a great job during the bandaging scene, because she does everything. She puts like the alcohol on the swab and like swabs I's finger and then puts the bandage on. And if you watch film is not like, she's not purposely not looking at I, she's not looking at the finger, like she's looking like somewhere off in I'm sure they have markers for her to stare at. She's staring at something else while she did this. So like film did a good job of like actually making that scene believable as a blind person taking care of like an injury basically. So she did a great job there.
How do you find the cut though without touching it?
I assume she she asks I think I points her. She takes May's finger, and puts it near the cut at some point in the beginning, because she can't see it. So like I does help her.
Sounds good.
Okay, so that's May. So good job, May. I, throughout the whole scene, does not take her eyes off of May. She's not looking at her hand or what May's doing 99% of the time. She's just staring at May's face, because I think I was caught so off guard by, yes, this entire situation, because it's insane, but also because of who May is. Like, I don't think I was expecting to come into contact with somebody like this at all, period. And like, here is this woman, like, taking care of her. I don't think she expected any of this, and is like doing it with a smile on her face, and is just very kind. And like, I is just like, what? Who is this angel that came from heaven and is like in front of me helping me? Like, I think she's just so in awe. She can't believe this is happening, is like the other thing too.
And it's still not weird, because May does not know how much she's staring at her. However, if she could, she would definitely love it.
Like, May would fucking love this. There would be no show. There's like, they get married after the scene. Like, just that would be the end. All right, so then while she's doing the dressing of the wound, we get to the alcohol part where she puts it on the cut that you mentioned earlier, and that's when the trance of May is beautiful is broken, because she's like, oh my god, that fucking hurts, and like yelps basically. And that's when May asks the line, can you handle the pain? And to me, that feels like a loaded question. Because yes, in the scene, she's talking about the pain of like cleaning the wound. But also, like, you could read that another way as like, can you handle the pain of like giving into your feelings for May and hurting your sister in the process? And then later May, and also again, like, I feel like that's a foreshadowing question to I, because like so much pain is about to come their way from like coming back into contact with each other, and like not having all of the tangled webs they're in being untangled yet. So can you handle the pain that's going to be being with me?
I'm pretty sure basically. There's more tangling of webs from this point on too.
Oh, for sure. Exactly. Yeah. It just makes all the pain really bad later on. So I feel like that was a foreshadowing question, not just about the cut. And that's when, to your point, I's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. This is getting intense.
Yeah, the gay disaster makes up the excuse that she left something in the car.
This is my favorite. I is a really bad spy, and I will say that over and over again because she's really bad at it. So the thing that actually prompts her to get up, it's not just all the gayness that's happening here. It's when May calls I my brilliant girlfriend. That's when I comes to her senses because she's like, shit, that's not me. And she says, yes, I'm going to go get something in my car and I'll be right back. Just put a pin in that for a minute. Also, it's worth noting that before she goes to, she makes the excuse and is like, then lingers there for like a second. And I like rubs the little bandage on her finger, like really like gingerly, and is smiling at May. So, because again, why does she get up? She gets up because she's like, I can't be in this situation. You're my sister's girlfriend. So she goes to get up and like remove herself because she's having the big feelings again, right? But before she does, she like lingers and smiles. And I think that I knows that what she's feeling is wrong. And this whole situation is wrong because this is girlfriend, actually. But I think it's significant that in this moment where she's lingering and smiling and doing all this body language to show us that I is selfish enough in this moment to let herself feel the love she's feeling from May and be happy about it, even if it's brief. Like we get the sense from her that like she does like this and does want this, even though she's gonna put first because that's what I always does. So it's like that conflict in her, and it's like the May feelings start winning versus the obligation, if it's another way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, again, she's not amazing at being Like, I was always showing through. And we see that in every single conversation they have, basically. At some point, it's like within a minute, goes away and it's just I there.
Yep, until there's just I being I. Yeah, very slowly the disguise starts coming off, both physically and in her behavior. And I do wonder if this was the other way around, would be better at cosplaying I?
That's a good point.
Right? I just thought of that.
Maybe we'll talk about that in episode 11.
I get this. Well, is smarter, like, book smart, so I feel like she'd be maybe more disciplined about the disguise versus
she'd probably practice.
She would probably, yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like she'd be more disciplined about practice. Because later when we get to the sister swapping, asks a bunch of questions and she's like, what do I do? What do you know? Like, I feel like she'd be more studious about the approach versus I just jumps in blind and is like, I'll wing it. It's like, girl.
This is what happens when you wing it.
Girl, if May didn't know who you were, you would have been outed in this scene.
Oh my gosh.
No, like, you know what I mean? It would have fell apart
the first minute that she met May, though, because she doesn't immediately kiss back. Like, she's so clearly not someone who's been dating this person.
Well, also, like, and May were fighting. Would not have kissed May. So the fact that she kissed May proves she's not like everything. Like, the May would have been like, she fell with her heels, May. And May would be like, who the fuck is that? She's being weird, May. Like,
but that would be May's fault, though. Not May's fault. Fault. Because didn't actually tell her where she was in this relationship. Like, we do get to a point where, like, they're actually broken up at this point.
No, it's ridiculous. So, like, again, like...
But anyway, it's there's so much
funny
in every single scene.
Let us know what you would have thought if was the one cosplaying I and the revolves were reversed. How would have done in the cosplaying in this scene? Just let us know.
I mean, because she also does not know her sister currently.
Yeah, no, they both equally don't know what's going on.
Be interesting for an alternate universe, though.
It would be.
But back to this scene. May smiles at this excuse of I going to the car to get something and coming right back.
It's ridiculous.
Because, again, I don't know if this is a translation thing too, but I doesn't own a car, doesn't drive a car, and May can definitely hear that. So May knows that I did not show up in a car.
I mean, has a car, so...
Yeah.
If she was there would be a car, but like there is no car. There's cameras. Again, if the maid was closer with May, she could have been like, there is no car. Like, she could have outed I so many times.
maybe she did as well, and May was like, "Oh, it's okay, it's no worries. I
It's
know
not
that this
Oom.
isn't the right
Don't worry
person.
about
Like,
it.
here's the
I know.
deal. We just didn't get that. You know what? I would love to see those scenes though, because I feel like there was definitely at least one conversation to be like, hey, so this person, I'm a little concerned right now.
No,
I
literally,
don't know if that's overstepping though.
I want all the scenes from the maid's point of view. Because, like, no, we do get a scene later when we get May's point of view, and the maid comes to May and she's like, Oom's here, but she's acting really weird. And that's when May's like, I'm pretty sure Oom is in the ICU right now. And then it's like, oh shit, it's I. So, of course.
Again, there's so much going on. Depending on who you focus on in each
Right,
scene,
exactly. That's what makes the
changes
show fun.
everything.
It changes everything.
And you can also tell it through their performances. So, like, the actors, it's so nuanced.
It's so nuanced.
And for us, like, all these can be read. So our first reading of these scenes, luckily we do have a record of it with our reaction videos, full length over on Patreon. Check it out. But now that we've seen it already, we can read so much more into these scenes. I mean, again, there's a lot going on. Because I is and will be for a while dealing with the guilt of thinking her sister's ex-girlfriend is the prettiest thing in the universe, even more than Pluto. While May is also hiding the fact that she knows that this is I. So I'm not the only one pretending. May is also pretending in every single scene. Maybe that's why she says so much too.
Well, it's also like that's how the Thai language is. Like, you say the name of the person when you're speaking to somebody you're intimate with, like intimate as in not necessarily romantic, but like you're close with. So she's gonna use the nickname.
I fully get that. It just hurts every time she's like, I'm in love with you, or like something that's like very loving. And I understand that that's the way it is, but every time like she ends it with it kind of hurts.
I feel like that hurts I more than anything. It's like, it's that constant, it is interesting with the language that's a constant reminder for I that she's thinking about my sister, not me. And that must make it really hard for I.
That's why I know that this is not for right now, but I really, really wish the reveal was I love you, I, instead of and that's how she tells her that she knows. Like, 'cause
oh no, I like that. I mean, I wanted that too. I wanted her to say that, but I do like the way it goes down with the motorcycle later. Oh, it's so good.
I mean, there's so many options for everything, but okay, and May is concerned about I's reactions because, again, she cannot see I. She is she is getting to be with the person that she has been thinking about since meeting her so long ago. And now she can't even fully know what's going through I's head. And that has to be so frustrating.
Yes.
But in a way, it kind of evens the playing field because she's also stumbling through everything, not knowing exactly how I is feeling since she can't see the body language, facial expressions. So they're both like gay disasters at this point.
Yes.
Because they both want to be with each other. They just can't get their true feelings out because they're both pretending not to know something.
The deception gap. But it's the deception gap. It's really, really true that they're like it's like they're on the same page, but they're not in other ways, which makes it really complicated and interesting. And May's face in this scene, just the way film had to play May being, to all your point, being the person who knows what's going on but has to pretend she doesn't, but also cannot accurately assess the entire situation because she cannot actually see I during these scenes, so she has to assess things in different manners. Like, when I is like, I gotta go to my car to get something out of the blue, like, the way May's face reads immediately, it kind of gives me the sense that she's like, she's gonna ditch me now. Because, like, she knows it's I, and she gets the sense that I keeps getting freaked out by stuff, because, like, this is a lot, let's be honest. So, I wonder if May knows in this scene she's gonna get ditched.
That's fair
It's
too.
so sad.
And rightfully so, because let's go back to Theora's pin in it, where I says that she'll be right back, because I presumably does not come back, and instead she gay panics all the way over to her best friend Pang's house.
She sure does.
And she immediately enters saying that she has a problem. And I love that Pang just starts listing off all of these things that I could have a problem about. Like, what is she talking about? We don't know. So Pang's list of reasons is her sister's car accident, her mission to break up with her sister's ex, letting Meemaw go to Paul's funeral alone. That one's the one new knowledge that we got from that.
Yeah, and I does not acknowledge that. She's like, oh fuck, I am supposed to be worried about all this shit, but pretty lady at the mansion. It's like, what the fuck, girl? Priorities. She's got him right.
Yes. So the actual problem is that May is a girl. And Pang's response. Okay, so first of all, I love Pang. Pang
is great.
Your reactions, response to everything, amazing. Because she's like, yeah, and her real response is that, how is that shocking? I date girls too. Which gives us confirmation that there are more queer characters in this show, which is amazing and always appreciated. So I wonder if Pang is like worried that her best friend is like having this homophobic moment. But again, Pang, don't worry, that could never happen.
No, it's much worse than you think.
So I points out that Pang has always dated girls. That's not an issue. The issue is that her sister hasn't and didn't tell her, like, she's never brought up dating girls before. And so, like, granted, yes, that this is something new for but it's important to acknowledge that bisexuality does exist. So just because she was with Paul does not mean that she wasn't interested in women too. Okay, but let's talk about what I actually says. But Oom's never told anyone she had a female lover. Okay. I'm sorry, I just love this line. Because out of the entire show, literally everyone else knew. Except you. Everyone else knew.
And also Pang. These two in this room are the only two people who don't know who didn't know Oom was dating May. They're the only ones. It's just them. Which is really funny that this is who she's having the conversation with. Everybody else knew about this except these two. Which is so funny. But I wonder, like... go ahead, sorry.
I'm just, every time that I say something like, no one knows. No one.
My poor sweet baby. She doesn't know what's going on.
So funny now.
She don't know what's going on. But okay, so I think what I is really saying is like, why didn't she tell anyone about this? I mean, meaning her, because she didn't know. And I wonder from I's perspective, it's like, was I think she's putting things together, like, was Oom ashamed of May? Because she's like, from her perspective, she thinks Oom ditched May because she was blind. Like, she's already painting her picture as, like, a wicked woman. And so I wonder if she's like, wow, was she just ashamed of May the whole time? And, like, the blindness was the breaking point? Because she's trying to put all this shit together because nobody told her. So I wonder if that's part of it, too. Because now that she's met May, she's like, who the fuck would be ashamed of May? Like, she's, like, a perfect person. Why would Oom hide her? Like, that's weird. You know?
Yeah, since she's trying to put this all together in her head right now, I don't think she's communicating it well either. So Pang's just like really confused about why she is freaking out right now.
Gay panic. She's freaking out because she's into May. That's really what she's freaking out about, but I don't think she's gotten to that point yet. She's like, no, it's the mission, Pang, it's the mission. But
like, if you would just tell her that, oh, this pretty lady is just really pretty.
She kissed me and changed my life. Let's not forget that.
They would have a lot more to say to you. But we already have a lot to say. So Pang
Wait.
basically tells her.
Wait. Hold on. In this conversation, I also brings up what is actually the most shocking part of what's happening, which is that didn't break up with May before getting married. That is the worst thing that did. Like, that right there is objectively terrible. Not the homophobia.
Yes.
That part is really bad. It's important.
Yes. So we did clarify that. That objectively, yes, that is the
terrible.
Worst thing. And as of the first watch of this, that is the worst thing.
That is the worst thing did. Because that was insane.
Anyway, so Pang then tells her that it doesn't matter anymore because I broke up with her for And she has atoned for her sister's sin of not breaking up with her before getting married.
Oh,
okay. So about that, Pang, sweet lesbian Jesus graced I's presence the first look she got at May, and kind of slapped her so hard that she's never gonna think straight again.
No, never. It's over. Which, much to Pang's disappointment.
Okay, so once I tells her that she couldn't because May is blind.
So funny.
I'm sorry. Pang's reaction to all of this. So first of all, she's like, don't tell me you haven't actually broken up. Like, it's the one mission that you went over there to do and you didn't even accomplish it.
I's face is so funny in this scene. She's like, yeah.
Like, all the internal guilt is coming to the forefront because Pang's the one, like, really addressing that.
Yeah, she's not afraid to push I's buttons, basically.
And then, so once I tells her that May's blind, Pang's like, well, you should have led with that one. Now that is actually shocking.
Seriously.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I was laughing this entire scene.
So funny.
It's amazing.
It's well acted, too. It's really funny, the way these two actors did a good job.
I love their dynamic together.
Yeah, they're really good.
I need to see more of this dynamic, too. Yes. This is kind of like...
I like this friendship.
Prick in... Well, Look'em in Idol Factory stuff.
Yes.
Like that type of relationship.
The best friend.
This is the best. Like, they play so well off each other, too.
They do. Put them in a comedy together.
Put everybody in a comedy.
Literally. We're trying to get it.
A main comedy thing. Anyway. So I then recaps how May seems to love so much, and she bandaged her finger without seeing anything. And Pang is just mostly impressed that May could do that in general, and totally skips over the part where she cares about
Yes.
Again.
Everyone does.
This whole time. Pang's reactions. The best thing of this whole scene. I mean, this whole scene is amazing, but just love you. And especially, again, with the reactions, when she talks about how smart May must be to bandage someone up without being able to see. But yet, she still didn't know her girlfriend was cheating. So now she's kind of, like, victim blaming here.
Yeah, I know.
Like, the way she's saying it is hilarious, but it was victim blaming because, first of all, being able to bandage someone is not the equivalent of knowing that your partner is cheating on you.
No, it's really not. They're not the same at all.
Not at all.
No. Yeah,
so Pang's not perfect either.
No, and that's fine. We love women's rights and wrongs. It's fine. It's not a bad thing. We're here for it. But yeah, Pang does keep victim blaming throughout this conversation because she's like, we'll get to it later, but then she's like, nobody else told her? What is she, a loser? Like, the way she blames May for bad behavior is like, wow.
She's fully not on May's side from the very beginning. I don't really understand why.
Well, there's a couple of reasons. Well, first of all, this conversation seems suspicious because, like, first of all, if you watch I gets all dreamy-eyed when she's like, she bandaged my finger without, like, hard eyes. I already has hard eyes. It's been 3 hours. Has hard eyes immediately. And Pang has been harboring a crush on I since they were children. So already she's like, I've never seen I behave like this. What the fuck? So she's getting jealous. So jealousy is part of it. And then she's like, wait a minute. This woman says she's blind, but then bandaged your finger without seeing anything. So to somebody who's probably never interacted with a blind person before, it's probably like, that seems suspicious. Maybe she's not blind. So this is when like the seeds of doubt for Pang start like kind of forming, where she's like, maybe she's lying to you, I like, but I's hard-eyed. She's like, no, why would the angel lie to me? You know?
Okay, that is a very good point to bring up, because I did forget to put in the Pang is also into I part into this. Again, every single thing, depending on who
So
you're
layered.
thinking of the scene with, it's just so much going on. And it's because they really did put so much into each character, which is amazing, and I love it.
Yeah, I will
Again,
say the
GMTV,
Pang
you're really good at that.
the Pang I dynamic, this is the same from the novel. Like, this came from Chow. The whole Pang is in love with I, has been into I the whole time. And the way it gets resolved is also straight out of Chow's book, which was really great. Like, Chow did a good job of like giving all the characters really good backstories, the ones that you interact with a lot, and the GMMTV ran with it with the point of view stuff, which was great.
Yeah. I mean, GMMTV and Chow together, except maybe us, they do really well together.
No, absolutely. So anyway, so then the scene kind of continues into like the back to the I is obviously enamored with May. The thing that she keeps harping on in this conversation is that she's like, listen, like, all of that is hella suspicious, sure, but like, she's really fixated on the fact that she senses that May loves And it all comes from that kiss, because she's like, I feel the love being poured into this kiss that doesn't just come from nowhere, right? And so she's really fixated on this. And she's like, but I don't understand if like, if May loved that much, why the hell did my sister ditch her for Paul? Because I think I keeps putting herself in shoes, and she's like, if somebody loved me that much, I would never leave them, ever, no matter who it is. So I think she just can't believe that would like give up that kind of love out of nowhere. And she's like, I don't understand why my sister walked away from this. Like, I would never do it.
I is us also watching this for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. And so for I too is also like, things are not adding up, like all the pieces that I have so far. And so maybe you and Pang should have been detectives so you guys could solve mysteries with Officer Hottie. I'm just saying. I would want that show too.
Yes. So many spin-offs from these shows.
This would be this would be amazing. But to go back to Pang's point of view during this scene, because I think Pang's point of view is pretty interesting for all the reasons we just stated. But the big thing is that if you look at Pang watching I during the scene, because again, I has hard eyes and she doesn't realize it. And here's Pang, who's known I forever and knows that I doesn't have feelings for people, and I's never had feelings for a woman either. She's watching her like best friend change right in front of her, and I think that like is a little unnerving for Pang, because as I talks, Pang can really get the sense of how I is really intrigued by May, to the point where I seems very protective of May in this conversation after meeting her for like 1 hour. So Pang is like, not only is this whole situation weird, but you're acting weird, after this one meeting.
Yeah. Again, the whole situation's weird.
Well,
but
yes.
This is a lot to happen. Because when we were talking about the bandage scene and all that, I have to keep reminding myself, this is their first meeting still. Just because we changed locations doesn't mean time has passed.
Yeah, this is all one meeting.
Which is still a lot to take in for everybody.
Sure. Yes.
Okay, so I defends the new love of her life that she doesn't know that is the love of her life by reminding Pang that May is blind and has been abroad, so she's not going to know some things. But Pang points out that internet exists. Thank you, Pang, because we do conveniently forget technology exists in these shows, and we do point that out when that comes up. And May has shown that she's resourceful, so if this was actually the scenario that we're led to believe, I really feel like there is no way May could not know right now. But anyway, we're not at that point. And she does make a great point that Paul wasn't a nobody, and someone in her family should have or could have told her. Again, her family's not great either, so who knows? But he's not a nobody. There would be things posted somewhere. Airlines CEO, something, whatever. Who knows?
Yeah. So to your point, like that's probably the main thing from this conversation is that Pang points out this about May's friends and family. So basically, like, if they're correct that in their assumption that May didn't know was marrying a high profile person because nobody who could see this on the internet told her about it, then that means May does not have a strong support system, which they're 100% correct about in this conversation. While they're theorizing all these things, that part is 100% correct. May does not have a support system.
Yes. And I should definitely listen and think about what Pang is saying, because Pang is just pointing out all these things that are not adding up. So Pang is able to see these as an outsider to this whole situation, also as an ulterior motive. Like, she doesn't want her to end up with it. She doesn't want I to end up with May. But again, everything is not as it seems. Okay, you just gotta think through it a little more. Take off the love glasses, but you won't, and it's fine.
She can't. When you wear rose-colored glasses, all the red flags look like flags, so she can't see all the red flags right now. She got the rose-colored glasses on. And then as this conversation continues, I love that Pang's brain then immediately jumps to where Ai's did, which is left May because she's blind. Like, even Ai's friends think so little of in this scenario, which is kind of telling about, like, the I division and, like, the way I must talk about her sister to her friends, where they're like, well, your sister's a terrible human being, so she obviously left her because she's blind. Like, everybody jumps there, which is crazy. I have to keep pointing that out.
The natural place to go when she hasn't seen her since she's been blind much, and she gets married to someone else without breaking up with her.
It's insane. Okay, and then we have to, at this stage, hydrate for lesbian Jesus, because Namtam's posture choice in this whole scene, sitting on the couch as I, is so gay. So thank you, ma'am, for sitting like a gay. Appreciate you.
Thank you for sitting like a gay.
Thank you for the way you sit. It's really gay.
Just thank you for being you. It's so gay.
All right, and so now that we're in Pang's apartment, I kind of want to take a moment to say kudos to the set designer / props people when they designed this apartment, because it definitely gives off a good sense of who Pang is, which is plant girly. So if you look, there's like plants everywhere, and her couch is like this like forest green color. So it's very, again, she's a nature person because she's a plant girly. And when we first go into the apartment, one of the first shots we get is like, well, one of the first things Pang does when I arrives, she's like, I have problems, Pang. Pang's like, oh, got it, you drink for this shit. So she goes to the fridge, and that's when she's like rattling off all the shit I could be upset about, but really it's that she's having gay feelings. So we get to the fridge, and on the fridge, like, if you look at it, because, she's got a bunch of photos on there, magnets, so that tells you about the character's personality. So if you look, there's like photos of beautiful landscapes, because again, plant girly. There's some space photos, because Pluto, and there's pictures of her with people, and there's a picture of her and I when they were children, which we get a close-up on, and that's on the left side of the the fridge from our perspective. And then on the right, divided by like a list of things to do, there's pictures of her and I think Officer Hadi. At first I thought it was also I, but the way they're like positioned, I think it's like girlfriend body language, not I body language. And also the clothing doesn't look like I. So like, it's interesting because like that in Pang's brain, that is going to be her conflict, is like her feelings towards I since childhood and like her current girlfriend, which is Officer Hadi or situationship or whatever. So like, it's all right on the fridge, like Pang's storyline, which is interesting.
That's a good point. And that means the I section is smaller because she's trying to hide it.
That too, yeah. But I like that it's like divided. So like that's the Pang's mentality right now.
Buy a to-do list. Because to do I.
To do I. Get in line, girl. May's also got that on her to-do list. So anyway, after okay, so back to the scene. So I's like, we need more information. Let me unlock phone with my face because we have the same face. So she gets into the phone. She's like, I gotta find shit out from here. And there's literally nothing at all about May in this phone. And I lists off the thing she's looking for. She's like, I don't see any number associated with May. There's no chat history. And the one she emphasizes the most is there's a lack of photos. And the way Namtam delivers this line reads as if I is offended, as if she's like, listen, if this was my girlfriend, there would only be photos of May in my phone. And also maybe sunsets. Because I get the vibe from I that she's the kind of person that like would have a bunch of photos of her girlfriend and then like things in life that give off good vibes that she wants to capture, like a sunset. That's the kind of person I get from her.
She's like, do you even know how to lesbian,
Right. Yeah, again, I wonder if I is constantly judging her. She's like, is a terrible girlfriend. My God. Like, how did you manage to bag so many people and get married? Like, what? You're bad at this,
Again, this is what we're thinking at this point, too. Okay,
but also, like,
then...
wait, no, Payne does bring up the point. She's like, girl, your sister was two-timing. Of course she didn't have any evidence of May in the phone. That would be stupid. But I is in La La Land where she's like, she still doesn't understand why she left May. I think that's the big thing she's freaking out about. Because she's like, why did my sister leave this person? It's not adding up. Like, why? So she's getting, like, personally offended by all of her sister's behavior in this scene.
Yeah, girl, you're going to be waiting a little while to figure out that answer.
Yep.
Enjoy the ride. Then Pang continues on her victim blaming route.
She
and
sure does.
Accuses May of setting up the accident and killing Paul to get back. Okay, so now, in defense of Pang, pretty sure that's exactly what I said, too, before she said it.
Right.
Like, I was already like... May can see. She's not blind. She did it. So, like, the show, even before this, was like, this is what we want you to believe. Again, if a show wants me to believe something, I am led straight there.
Well, here's the thing. If you read the novel, you would be correct, because that's what happens in the novel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you're reading the novel, you're like, yeah, Pang, you are correct. Then GMMTV is like, psych. Here's humanized
They're like, we're going to make you think that it's the same as the book, just to make you comfortable.
Yep.
And then completely change it.
And they change everything. It's great.
I love that.
I love it.
Because really you need to do that when it's a mystery like that. Because the book people, well, first of all, I'm sure that there are some book people upset about it, maybe.
There sure were.
Because it's not the same. But I would like that because then it's a reason to really consume both forms of media because you don't know.
As long as you view it as like a fan fiction version of the novel.
Yeah, and that's
it's like an alternate universe. It's like, what if May was actually blind? How would this have played out? Enter the Pluto AU, the series.
Yeah.
That's what they did with us. They're like, oh my God, this novel. Let's AU everything about this and give you a completely different show with the names of the characters. Names. We like the names, the vague plot, everything else is different. It's completely different. And it worked.
I really do want to know how they decide what to keep and what not to.
I would love to know their screenwriters' processes because it's just, they're very good storytellers and I just want to know how they approach those novels and decide what to change, what to do differently, how to pace it. It's
especially
very good.
It being so different from each show because how do you go with us not following the story at all to this that kind of follows it, and then I believe there was another show that like really like followed it more closely.
23.5 was a lot more close to the source material from GMMTV.
The homophobia. Yeah.
But they removed the homophobia and that changed things, yeah.
So it's very interesting to see. It would be interesting to know why they... Is there like a random generator how much will the show match the book?
It seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, and if you know more about this, but it seems to me that GMMTV is more like family drama centered. Like they're like, it's like almost like a family channel by the way they adapt things. So I wonder if that's part of the thought process where they're like, how do we make this more like family friendly or family centric type of stories versus just like, I don't know, like
Yeah, that
singular
would make
person.
sense why they do flesh out more characters too and create more of an ensemble, so more
Exactly.
people
That's the
are able
vibe I
to
get.
relate to it. That would make sense. Okay, so back to Peng victim blaming and saying
God.
that May is probably the one who killed Paul. I just responds, she's blind. And first of all, like that's just I's explanation for everything right now. She's blind. She can do no wrong. Again, and because she keeps saying that to me, it feels like she's not fully seeing May yet because she is seeing her blind. I mean, this is completely new to her, which is valid. Like it's going to take some getting used to. Obviously, she doesn't like pity her, but it's still a big part of May and a big part of her understanding her because she didn't know her before she was blind too. So she's just trying to understand everything that's going on right now.
Also, like the circumstances of and Paul's accident was like a car accident. So I was like, how would May have like? I guess it's hard for her to envision how would May even do that. Like if she's blind, like how would she execute the car accident? Like it's kind of weird to envision. Like how would somebody like May couldn't have ran them off the road. You know what like how would May have done that? I guess is the other puzzling piece. Like if you want to make her the mastermind, she could have called them, but then what? I guess I may also have an issue with like that because they know so little about the accident at this point too, other than like they were in a car.
Yeah.
So maybe that's
Also,
part of it too.
not May. Oh my gosh, was also in that car.
Why was Uma like? Yeah, it was very weird. Yeah, Uma's in the car. Yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, I is just
Again,
like
the whole thing is weird.
I still can't get over the fact that left her, but she's blind. Like, I think I can get past that part. She's not hearing anything else Peg is saying.
Yeah, it's like she came over to talk about her problem, but
Yeah.
clearly her brain is just thinking through it herself
It's
and
not
just
working.
having to deal with this person telling her things that she doesn't want to hear right now.
Also that.
And she's just getting more frustrated. Because, you know, she's being told that the person that she thinks can do no wrong right
After
now.
meeting once. Yeah, it's
Yes.
wild. But to your point, back to the pity thing. So like Pang does specifically ask or not ask, but she's like, oh, you feel sorry for her, like pity. You feel pity for her. That's what this is all about. And she asks I specifically, and she's like, you seem to be like more on pitying May more than in this situation. And like, interesting because I have spent all of this time like defending her, being the big sister to without question, even when she's like, on the outs with her and stuff, hence this whole situation. But like, yeah, it is interesting to see I's like loyalties, quote unquote, shifting so quickly to this other person she just met. And so Pang's like, it does seem like you feel really badly for May, and that's why you're not going to break up with her now for Like, is that why you didn't do it? And I think it's interesting that they're bringing this up now because this concept of like pity comes up over and over and over and over again throughout this show. And it's interesting to me because Pang's question to Eyes, what she's subtly asking is like, are you choosing May over your own sister? And truly, like, based on Eyes' behavior after their first meeting with May, like, it does read that way, which is pretty interesting considering who they've set up Eye to be. Like, it is interesting.
I mean, at this point, she I mean, she does know more about but she really doesn't know her either.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And right now, what she knows is that she broke up with May because she's blind. So, again, she's siding with the victim here instead of victim blaming.
Yeah. Which
However,
can
we
be
know
read
that
as
that's
a
not
type of
actually what's
pity
going
in
on.
a way, but
Yeah, that is. But again, she's like, I don't know my sister.
yeah, I think
What she
that's
knows right now
yeah,
is like it's completely wrong.
right.
So she's not going to take her side. Like she's been butting heads with her sister her whole life. So this is just something else that
Right.
like, oh, my sister did this. I can't believe that. And the way if you look at I, the way her body language becomes so defensive when Pang stands up and really digs into the fact that May could be lying about everything. Again, listen to Pang. Not everything, but just like think about things from not the rose colored glasses point of view. I know you can't right now, but again, it is weird. But I kind of contracts on herself as she becomes more frustrated with Pang. Again, she's sitting very gaily. Love it.
Hydrate.
But you do see her like her shoulders like come in more, and she's like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what are you saying right now?"
Yeah, and and she asks Pang or says to Pang, "You're accusing someone you haven't even met." Like the thing is, like I've met this woman, you haven't, and you know that my sister is trash. So, because you jump to the blind conclusion, she left her because she's blind too, right? But yeah, anyway, so when Pang is basically like, "Oh, are you choosing May over your sister?" I never actually answers the question. She just like is like, "You know what, Ping? We need more information. I'm just gonna keep being and we'll continue our little side investigation to figure out what's going on. That's what we're gonna do." So like I is not ready to confront all the conflicting information basically about May and and she's like, "I need more information because this is fucking confusing, and this girl's really pretty, and my sister's trash. So, like, let's just figure it out. I'll just pretend to be a little bit longer. It'll be fine. What could go wrong?" And basically leaves on that note.
Yes, because she's like, and if I get the added benefit of just getting to look at her some more, it's not me. It's just the mission.
Yeah, if she kisses me again, it's just the mission. That's really what I want. She wants another kiss. That's really what is motivating a lot of her, gay thoughts and actions, and like going forward for a bit.
I mean,
like,
that's a lot because her introduction is a kiss to May.
I know.
We're gonna make it way more confusing.
I know. Oh, May.
So from here, we transition to a completely different scene. Not about May. We go to the hospital where I and Mima get the news that is stable, but they don't know if she will wake up or be in a vegetative state. And
yeah,
they're rightfully very upset about this because there is a lot of unknowns they can't know right now. Correct, Theora?
Yeah, and what we do know is that Chow loves her comas, so it's gonna be a while because Chow loves them. But yeah, so gonna be in the ICU recovering for a hot minute, and basically the family got called over to hear that from the doctor, us, told everybody what they needed to hear. And what I find interesting in this scene is that I came straight from Pang's apartment. So she's still in her cosplaying outfit, right? At this stage. Comes to the hospital with Mima. And the fact that Mima does not comment on what I's wearing, because why is I never wears this. Why is I wearing this outfit and heels? Remember, she came in heels. It just shows you how distraught Mima is because she can't even like see all the red flags with I in this scene. Like just the way she's dressed is really weird to be like, what the fuck were you doing? What are you doing? None of that. She's so consumed with grief over that she can't see I, which again, from I's perspective, that keeps getting reinforced that like everyone keeps choosing over her in her life. And so, like, this is a little glimpse of that kind of playing out in real life where, like, grandma doesn't see all the red flags with I because she's so focused on And, poor I, again. No one's looking out for her. That's what it feels like.
No one sees her.
No one sees her.
And although May is blind, she is seeing her.
Exactly.
And with that, we interrupt this episode to bring you some shout-outs for our Chaos crew over on Patreon.
Because we see you.
So we see you, and
Yay.
We love you. Every single one of you. Whether you are on Patreon or anywhere else where you support us, we do see all of the support you give us. So our Chaos crew members on the Big A Ride or Die tier and above are Dana W, Amix Monzone _multi, Natalia, Danny, Cassie M, Here For It, Jill L, Regina B, and Monet F. And our featured Big A supporter members for this episode are Ainsley B, Alex, and Pooja S.
Whoop whoop. Pooja, stick around to the end. We got section just for you.
Stick around to the end of every episode. We see you.
We see
and
you.
all your help.
We see all of you.
Sections.
Thank you all.
And if you want to join Patreon,
yeah,
go head over to Patreon. Just a side note, if you want to join our Patreon, try to join on the desktop site rather than the app version of Patreon, because the app version will make it so the monthly fee is higher. So it will be cheaper on the desktop. And we just realized that, which is sad. So definitely subscribe through the desktop. I believe you can still watch through the Patreon app.
You can.
It just has to come from the desktop version.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
And for $5 a month, you get access to all of our content. We do have higher tiers with other benefits, but $5 just, you get everything ad-free, reaction videos full length without any little boxes on it. There's so much content over there. There's so many people interacting. We also have a Patreon channel in our Discord. You can just join our Discord in general too if you are not able to join Patreon or just don't feel like it. Discord is a great place to meet other people that are interested in Pluto or Thai Girl Love, any queer media in general. There's always something going on over there. There's so many threads about all the shows happening. It's a great time. So definitely come join the community over there.
Yeah. And if you're wondering why do we have upper tiers in Patreon, so the upper tiers get access to like exclusive bonus episodes where we like fan fiction mostly about stuff. We did a whole one about, we did season 2, what would season 2 of Us be? What if GMFTV produced these shows? Like, we just go off on stuff. So if you're into fan fictioning, like, consider that, because that's mainly the bonus stuff. And I think you get some merch too after a while.
I believe we'll be doing a murder board episode where we try to figure out who knows what and when.
In Pluto? Yeah. That will be going on Patreon. So fun times. Yes. So check all that out. And shall we continue with Pluto?
Let's do it.
All right. So Detective I decides to go into Oom's room, probably to return the clothes she stole, and snoop around for more May evidence because there was an egregious lack on that cell phone.
The first thing I notice when we get to Oom's room is that the decor is very interesting.
Agreed.
So right away, the thing that pops out to me is the stop sign. And then if you notice around it, there's a lot more other road signs. And then if you look into the cubbies, there are a lot of planes, model planes, which is interesting. Yes, May is a flight attendant. Not May. Oh my god. Oom is a flight attendant. But I don't, do you really want your job as your decoration too? I don't know, maybe she just really likes planes. But the road signs in combination with that is very interesting. So I'm like, is this foreshadowing her life or just obvious set decor?
I think that was some fucked up shit on the props people department, because, like, yeah, she gets in a car accident that changes her entire life, so they're just like, here's some road signs. But I wonder if which is pretty fucked up if that was the thought process and just mean, but, like, I also wonder if, like, Oom's job is transportation essentially based as a flight attendant, so maybe that was like the theme of this section where they're like planes and then like travel. You know, maybe that was the theme, but
yeah, the road signs just felt really
it just makes it
random
mean,
to me.
yeah.
It
'cause of
did
the car
not
accident.
seem like
It's mean.
it would match like style.
Right. But I think there is stuff in there that matches her style that's also really interesting and you can definitely read into. So let's talk about the art in room because that was the decor. That was the decor that really stood out to me the most. So when we first enter the room, I like turns the light on because it's dark, turns it on, and the first shot we get is a picture in room of with Mima. I's not in it. It's just and Mima. So already, like if you look around the room, we don't get every piece of art in this room, but a lot of the photos are just like I'm sorry, by herself or and Mima. There's no evidence of I in this room. So again, leading to like the animosity of these two. Like doesn't even want to see I's face, even though it's her own face, but that's offensive to I. So like I's
That's
not
a curse to herself. So
correct.
She's like, every single time I look in the mirror, I have to see
I see I. Okay, so then let's talk about the art that she has in there, because is presented as this like more fancier version of I, essentially, because she's the one that went to college. She has more money because of her job, that kind of stability. She dresses in nice clothing. So she would be the sister that would buy art. Like she has multiple models, like sculptures in her room. Okay, so she gives me the vibe that she would on her own go do that. So the first one we see is in that first shot with the photo of sorry, I keep doing it, and Mima. So the first sculpture is this bust of this human face. And the human face is split down the middle with two colors. So there's black on one side and white on the other side, which are opposite opposing colors, right? So, again, art in room, very plausible, but like, why does she have this? So I wonder if this type of human split down the middle is a representation of I and relationship, maybe because they're twins, they're two halves of a whole, but they're opposite personalities, they're on the outs with each other. So maybe that's why we kind of have this bust. Maybe. The other read I had on this was, what if this is, again, it's room, and there's no evidence of I at all in this room, really, from what we see in the short amount of time we spend here. What if this is more a reflection of and how sees herself, hence why she'd be drawn to this piece of art and buy it. So I wonder if this is about how feels like she has a split personality thing going on, where she presents one version of herself to the world, like the very competent, smart girl who presents well in society, is fancy, all that kind of stuff, in contrast with how she really feels about herself, which we'll find out later when we actually get into journey and story. Does not feel that way about herself, but she presents opposite of the way she feels. So I wonder if that's what that is saying, which you can like argue I also feels the same way, but like they present opposite and feel opposite. But this is room, so we're going with that.
If you go with it's like the black and white, the contrast between the twins, we do see later that wanted that connection with I.
So did I.
Just could never get it. So they both couldn't get it. So that, in a way, they're together in that piece of art.
Yep.
Connected,
so yeah,
literally.
You could definitely read it as the twins, or you can read it as how feels about herself. And I'm leaning towards the latter is the majority reason it's here, but the twin thing is also plausible, because then we move to I moves throughout the room and she starts snooping, and so she starts looking through some drawers, and then we see on bedside table there's another sculpture, and this one is another human face, but it's incomplete. Like the back of the skull is carved out, so it's like a partial human face, and then this one has a hand, so it's not just the face, and it's got its index finger pointing against its lips, almost like a shushing motion. And this one reads to me like again, what we know about who's like, again, got this double life going on, all this stuff with I wonder if it's kind of like secrets are eating me alive and by keeping them kind of thing, which is what goes through with May. I herself. So like again, that secretive nature of and the fact that like I is in this room trying to figure out what are my sister's secrets, and there's this like bust of like secrets kind of thing in there was also really interesting. So I think the decorum in Oom's room, particularly the art, says a lot about and from I reading it, it's like, yeah, you really don't know. You don't get much of a personality, but it's like this like subtle Oom's a secretive person, and perhaps there's more to than what we see on the surface, like is the concise read of those two things, basically.
It's interesting that it is just the face, considering she shares her face with someone else. And it does apply everything you said to I as well. Not that that's why she has it, but it's just interesting because it could apply to either one.
Definitely. But the fact that it's in Oom's room and would have had to buy it to put it there, like the main read is definitely and why it's in her room. So with that, let's go back to the scene. So I does some top-notch detective work and eventually locates secret stash of May memorabilia, essentially. So it was in a locked drawer under the bed, which to me is symbolic of trying to like lock away these unresolved feelings from May, because she kept this shit. She didn't just burn it before she got married. And then here comes I, who's gonna literally and figuratively unlock all of these unresolved feelings that has for May. And it's basically the opening of Pandora's box is what this scene is.
The only thing more accurate in I's point of view would be if the locked box was in the closet.
Yeah, that would, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised she didn't look there first to be like, where would you hide gay stuff? The closet.
It's because she's still technically in the closet with her feelings, so if she was fully out, if she was Pang would look there first.
Yes, Pang would immediately. Well, Pang would be like, you don't need to hide shit in the closet, it's 2024. I get out of the closet.
Oh my gosh, I love that. But can we talk about where the keys were? Because they were not hidden. Like, why have the keys? Like, I understand you want to keep it locked, but they were literally a couple of feet, not even feet, they were literally right on another part of the bed. And I love the look that I had when thinking about where the keys could be, because hid a relationship with a woman from everyone. Quote, quote. Yeah, she hid it from everyone, sure. But yeah, she would keep the keys to something she thought was worth locking up almost right next to it. She's like, yeah, I know my sister. She's not smart enough to keep him in a second location.
Well, I mean, doesn't that lead to like what the grandmother says later, where she's like, I is street smart and is not. So like, this is street smart. She's like, where would my dumbass sister put her most precious possession? Behind her head. That's where the secrets are, right? The figure with the half of the skull cut off. She's like, there. By the secret statue. Good job,
The only thing, the funny thing would be if it was like a full head with the secret and
like, it was in there,
a compartment in there. Yeah,
she's like fucking dumbass. Yeah, because like I find this,
yeah, it does showcase the like she is smart enough to know to like, oh yeah, we lock it up, but not like, oh, people are gonna easily figure this out, because that would be the street smarts of it all.
Yeah, ain't got any, as we'll see. The scene is Exhibit A, Your Honor, of has no street smarts. Okay, so what does I find? Once she unlocks Pandora's box, basically she finds inside is basically couple photos of May and like happy, genuinely happy. There's a key to May's house, like the fob to get her in and out, and there's a box with a ring in it, and that corresponds to the photo of May and in matching rings. And I need to point out one thing about the photo, well, a couple things about the photos that I think is really interesting. First, let's start with the rings. So in the photo, May and like take the photos as if it was the day the rings were exchanged, because it's very like, we just got a gauged photo. And the ring that they're wearing is on the engagement ring finger. Like, it's on their third finger on the left hand. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought in Thailand it meant the same thing, because normally in the Thai girl love shows when they get married or engaged, it's the same ring finger. So that gave me the vibe of like, if it wasn't an engagement, it was like this is a promise ring of some sorts, like a vow of love. So they weren't just like matching jewelry just to be like, ooh, it's a cute couples thing. It seems like there was a lot of meaning behind that based on like where they wore the rings, is just my take. And the fact that they took the photo showing off the rings also gave off like, this was an important moment in our relationship, symbolized by the jewelry. That's just the vibe I got from the photos, the placement of the ring. But then the fact that sitting in the box.
At this point in time.
What'd you say?
They were married at this point in time.
But were they? Like, that's what the weird part. So, like, that's the vibe, right? And I, who doesn't know what's going on, is like, wow, this is a really serious relationship. Okay, because that looks really serious. And the photos that kept, because remember, in brain, put the stuff together. So these were like good memories, I think, that was keeping, because this is what she was holding on to. This was the moments when I think felt really loved by May. So yeah, the exchanging of rings, big moment, big I love you, we love each other moment. Would be inclined to keep this, because this is a representation, I think, of all the feelings still has for May, which is the good times. So all the photos in here, the theme of them is looks really happy, because there's one photo of like by herself, which like, why would you keep that? But you know, it's But the photos with May in them are very coupley and very like, everybody in the photo looks genuinely happy. Okay, so because from perspective, I think kept these because these were moments when she was genuinely happy. May was also happy, and she felt loved. Because at this stage, is having a hard time letting go of the good feelings, and like, this is a representation of that. But in the scene, it's I is the one finding this. So I is looking at these photos, this like engagement ring looking photo, and then the photos where May is really happy and looks super in love with So these photos, from I's point of view, are going to fuel her insecurity going forward, because this is reinforcement that, yes, May really loves The love that I felt when she was kissing me when I was supposed to be that was all real. Here's the proof that May loves not I. May loves
Yeah, so she's now getting the proof that the relationship was real. Because, like, she was able to pretend like, oh, the relationship wasn't that big of a deal. What I'm doing is okay. But now she's like, oh shit, I'm pretending to be this person that May's in love with. And now I'm hurting her, but I'm still being selfish because I want to look at a pretty lady.
Yeah, but also, like, she's like, what was their relationship? Because she did ask that earlier, and it's like, oh, this is a very serious relationship, which we will get conflicting information about this going forward, as I'd be like, what? Because, like, look at this. It looks like they were engaged. So, like, remember that when we go into the later scenes with May.
And the photos, they're very close together, too. Keep that in mind.
They're couple photos. Yeah, exactly. So it gets weird going forward.
I feel like everything else.
All right, cool. So, all right. So then I's like, great, I have something else in my arsenal to cosplay So she ups her game by wearing the ring. Okay, so she puts it on her finger, and like, she's waiting for the maid to let her in, and just like staring at this ring, the engagement ring or whatever it is, and just looks super guilty about this, because she's like, oh man, this shit was serious, and now I gotta like pretend to be like, damn.
Also, but like, she just showed up before without the ring, and now all of a sudden
100%.
she has the ring.
But like, how would May know? She can't see. She didn't touch
her hands.
She didn't touch that hand. Was that hand the hurt hand? I's not a good spy. We've been over this. She's a really bad spy.
He just changes things up.
She sure does.
Okay, so the shots that we get with her at May's house are very interesting, because it looks like I is fully accepting her role, pretending to be to figure out what is going on.
Yes.
And maybe live in a fantasy where she gets to look at May some more. It's just a side benefit. It's not what she's doing.
It's the mission. It's part of the mission. It's fine.
But the bright light behind her gives a sense of something that's not natural or real, because it's combined with a darker contrast in the front, and we see her going towards the darker side,
which is the house.
And and she's choosing to deceive May herself instead of staying true to herself and just being herself. And the low angle gives her more power, but again, it's tilted slightly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's creating that sense of uneasiness with that power. And then add in her actions, and the whole thing just screams deception. Like, she knows that she's deceiving May. And it's just the conflicting emotions in her head at this time. You see it on the outside too.
Yeah, for sure.
So basically, all things said, I just love this shot, and I keep getting drawn to it. It's just very interesting because you don't really get those low angle shots as much.
No, not in this show. Not often. They do shots that are off kilter with I specifically a couple of times, which makes sense because, especially in the beginning, because her world's being knocked off kilter because, like, who is my sister? And then I have to pretend to be my sister and, like, deceive this person, and who am I and who is she? And so, yeah, she is off kilter at this point. So that type of angle totally makes sense. And just,
there is a scene later in the show that we're just like, that's really extreme.
Yes.
But in this scene, we go from this tilted low angle to a cut. We cut right out of it to this medium shot, and it's leveled, and the darkness is still there, but it's more blended in. We don't see that distinct contrast of light and dark. And I feel like this is I officially masking herself as Okay, again, the mask isn't strong. Like, no. She does break very easily.
It's but like in this moment,
she's like, this is her role. She is ready. And she's ready to face what is ahead of her.
Yeah, so that's a good read of, basically, if you put those two shots together that you're talking about, of I waiting in front of the front door, basically, or the gate for the maid to let her in, is basically like I transforming into which makes the wide shot that we get after that when the maid lets her in really interesting, because you see I then walk in, and if you notice in the wide shot, I did not wear heels. I wore her white shoes to this event. So she up her cosplaying as by wearing the ring. She's still in clothing. She ditched the heels though. So although she's like cosplaying she's kind of starting to shred the costume a little bit on the second meeting by being like, she can't see, fuck it, I can wear my shoes, I can be a little bit more me. How would she know? So
she can hear.
Well, when you go in the house, you're not wearing shoes, so how would she wouldn't be able to distinguish a heel from, exactly, so
that's true.
This works. But this becomes, I point this out now because this becomes a pattern with I going forward, because over time, I will slowly start replacing clothing with her own clothing to the point where she just shows up as I. Like, it's not even an cover anymore. It just happens subtly here and then it gets really dramatic in the next episode. So she's already starting because she's like, fuck them heels, which is valid for I. Okay,
but so also doesn't I have a key now to this place that was in the lockbox?
She does, but I mean, I don't know why what she's doing. She's a bad spy. We've been over this. I is a bad spy. So, okay, so then the maid lets her in, and upon arrival into wherever May is sitting, the first thing May asks, there's no introduction, there's no words from I. May is just like, so you took all night to get shit out of your car, did you? Like, the shade from May is so fucking funny, because, like, that was the most ridiculous lie ever. And I didn't, like, text her and be like, I won't be back. This bitch was just like, I'm gonna go to my car, I'll be right back. And comes back the next morning, which is insane.
But she does come back, which
Yes.
is reassuring.
She does come back, but we know for sure that I didn't tell May a goddamn thing, because when the maid greets her, she's like, oh, you're back. Just like May said you would be. And I was like, really? May knew I was coming back? And she's like, yep. So I didn't tell her a goddamn thing. But May is so funny. The way she's like calling I out on her bullshit, I think is really funny. But from May's point of view, I think she learned something valuable and is low-key happy that I is a terrible liar. And so she kind of gets confirmation of that in this scene. She's like, you're a shitty liar, and I'll take that. Because May, you'll see, is a fantastic liar because she's a lawyer, and that's part of her skill set.
I do wonder what this would be like if it was face value of the situation. Like, if May truly thought this was how would this all play out?
I think they'd start fighting immediately because they fought. So I think
That's true.
And May would have gotten to an actual argument, like a fuck you, I can't believe you showed your face here again. They would start fighting. I'm pretty confident. But because this is just being a really bad spy, I think May finds it endearing that I made up this ridiculous lie. But then I came back of her own volition. Like, May didn't beg her to come back. I came back, and I just apologized in the scene. So, like, I think May's just like, you're a dumbass. This is why I love you. Like,
so if this was the real situation, like, not May knowing that it's the other twin, I would probably fix the relationship. And then either have to hope her sister doesn't wake up out of a coma and be her sister the rest of her life, or 2, lose her again. Because May would not know. Well, however, at this point, May should really know that something's going on because, again, she's terrible at this.
She's terrible at it.
I kind of want a scene where, like, an alternate universe thing. Maybe fanfiction.
Leave it in the fanfiction. All right, so while I's fib is absolutely ridiculous, it's mostly true that she did have to go get something out of her car, and then she responds with, well, then a family matter came up. That's why I didn't come back, which is true because, like, she got the call, come to the hospital because of basically. But she doesn't say all that, even though May probably knows, and she apologizes to May for, like, ditching her, basically. And then they get into this really fun conversation where I and May both try to trip each other up and, like, catch each other in lies, which is pretty entertaining. It's not the first time they do this, but not the only time they do this. They keep having these, like, coded conversations where May is like, this dumbass. So I asks May, wait, how did you know it was me? Because that's here, because she said nothing when she came in the room. Because remember, coming off the conversation with Pang, where Pang's like, is this bitch really blind? It doesn't sound like she's blind. It sounds like she's faking it. So I has that in her brain, and she's like, how did you know it was me if you can't see me? It basically is what she's asking. And May replies, I recognize your walk. Don't you remember? Because, again, her only card is always like, don't you remember, Don't you remember,
And then she has to accept it.
Right, has to accept it, because she's like, obviously I remember, May. And May's just like, what a dumbass. Which, again, designed to challenge but I'm wondering, like, what does May actually mean by that? Like, she recognizes the sound. Well, I know what she means. I recognize the sound of your walk. I wonder how true that statement actually is, which, if it's true, then do and I have the same gait? Because that's what she's here. Do they walk the same way? I'm just curious, because, like, obviously we never see them walk together. Like, is this true what May is saying? Or is she lying? Because May does lie throughout the whole thing. Because in this scenario, she told the May, she's like, don't worry, maid, I will / will be back, don't worry. So I wonder if May made this up because, like, she knew it was because who else would come here? Like, she literally has no support system, as we see, and nobody comes to visit her. So I wonder if she assumed it was the maid told her, or she just believed so strongly that, like, I's gonna come back to me Because I think she felt the reciprocal love from that kiss from I, and was like, okay, she's into me, so she's gonna come back. I just wonder what actually drove this line from May, the truth, or like, was she lying, basically?
Could she have overheard the maid talking to I?
I don't know if the cameras have voice where she could hear. Or like,
I don't know how close the room is to the
it's
entrance.
nowhere near it. The gate is outside, and they remember they had to do all the walking.
Oh, that's right.
There's no way.
For some reason, I thought there was another door.
Like, the maid could have been like, hey, I's here. But it doesn't read that way from the maid's point of view. She's like, oh, May told me to expect you, that you'd be here. So I think May assumed I was going to come. I think that was really what it was. It was an assumption more so than like, I know how you walk. Don't you know that? And I's like, obviously I know that. Duh. I remember everything about you, May. And which I's such a dumbass. It's really funny. Okay, so back to the scene. So after I tries to play that off, she like tries to look around the room because they're in a different room now. And she's like looking around and like leaning, like she's trying to find clues of May's evilness or some shit. But like, if the bitch could see you, this was not discreet what she was doing. She was like very obviously snooping around in this scene. So like, if the maid was here, again, the maid walking by being like, why is being so fucking weird? I'm so bad at being is what I'm saying.
Suspicious. That's what so I expect. The maid just walking by the room each time, just being like, suspicious. And then keep on walking.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, this fucking weirdo. All right. So then eventually I sits down when she's like, okay, there's nothing suspicious here. She sits down. And then she's like, hey, May, why aren't you wearing our matching rings?
Which is very weird and brave of I to bring up, because you didn't talk about rings yesterday. Mm-mm. Okay. Also, your sister just got married to someone else. Now has someone else's ring. How do you know that the rings are still relevant? They were literally locked away. So if May is not wearing it, there's a reason that they were not wearing these rings.
Yeah, no, you are right. And I don't think we ever get it fully what the reason is, other than they broke up. And I think that I is doing this because they're getting back together is the thing versus breaking up. And so she's like, hey, we're back together now. Where's your ring? Why aren't you wearing it? I wonder if that was her angle. She's just really terrible at communicating it. But you're right. It's all of this is weird. And May's relationship is so weird.
Also, does I not realize that they were broken up and that was her whole point of going there? Like, does she not find that suspicious that they're going to be back together now?
Well, like, the thing is they weren't technically broken up. That was the stupid part, because that's why, like, was technically dating May when she married Paul. And that's why she's like, gotta go break up with this girl. Or this person, sorry. The whole thing is fucking weird. But anyway, she's like, this is the only gambit I have to get her to talk about the relationship, because I still don't know what the fuck happened. Look at those photos. They were happy. Why did my sister leave her? I think that's the big question more than anything else on I's brain. She's like, why did she do this? And like, what happened? So she's just trying to figure that out right now. And so May is like, why the fuck are you wearing the ring, I? So she's like, I don't believe that you're wearing the ring. So I was like, I'll fucking prove it, May. I am wearing the ring. That's totally mine. So she takes May's hand and puts it on top of her hand. And I think this was May's plot all along, because she's like, it's plausible that I would go steal her sister's ring and wear it to cosplay her. And I think May's like, well, the only way you can prove it to me is if I hold your hand. So she's like, prove it, I. And then I's like, fine. And she like puts May's hand on top of her, and May's like, great, now I have your hand. So because she like touches the ring, smiles, and then if you watch, she very quietly like grabs I's hand with her other hand. So she's like fully holding onto I in the scene, because May is an opportunist and she will take advantage of a situation when it benefits her.
She really also does not want this woman getting away from her again.
No, never. She's got her own mission, okay? So while she has I's hands secure within her own, they start talking about the ring. And May, again, like I mentioned a minute ago, like May does not elaborate on why she's not wearing her ring, but asks, quote, why are you still wearing this ring? That's my question. To which I has no answer, because like, to your point, why are you wearing this ring? Why did you bring it up? May wasn't wearing it yesterday. So I naturally panics. And if you watch her, she tries to pull her hand away from May because she's like, fuck, I made a huge mistake. She's like, let me take this back. But May doesn't let her because she has a two-handed grip on Ai's hand. She's like, no. This is mine now. And if you watch Ai when May is doing this, she, like, her panic subsides as May, like, slowly brings her hand, like, back into her personal space. Because I think this, like, grounds Ai. And it's May's way of being like, you're real cute, because I know you don't know a goddamn thing about what you're doing right now. So, like, calm down. It's fine. So this, like, draws Ai's attention directly back to May versus her gay panic. So May then very calmly explains, listen, remember that big fight we had? And in that big fight, you ordered me to leave. And I was so concerned that you, would never come back. That's what happened. Like, more on that later. But I takes this information to be like, oh, okay. And May were fighting before this coma / May turned blind. That's all the weirdness. And I guess she's left to assume that's why May's not wearing the ring, because they got into a fight. Was like, I need space or whatever, even though we're not broken. Does that sounds like they broke up to me, but apparently not.
Well, it also reinforces the fact that it would have been easy for Ai to fulfill her mission.
Oh my god, I know, she's such a
second
dumbass.
That she stays.
So
like, she's
easy.
now making the choice to stay. She is the reason that the situation's getting worse.
Yes.
She's making it worse for herself, May, and Of course, like, that's only the case if May didn't actually know who she was.
No, that is such a valid point. I accidentally makes everything worse by playing along with it. If she had broken up with her, May would have been like, great. You're Ai, right? Let's
Yeah,
let's go have a sandwich or
then
whatever.
she knows.
Right.
If I would have just gone through with this damn
I know. I would have just gone through
May
with it.
could have been like, okay, look, she already did break up with me. She told me that she's going to send you. I have been in love with you.
Right, no, literally. Let me kiss you real quick. It's the kiss that changed everything, because I was like, oh my god, what are these feelings? And that just ruined everything. She forgot how to think, and that's how we get here.
Hold on. If the kiss didn't happen in the beginning, I would have broken up with her, and then May's response would be just to kiss her.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, you could just be
like, I've been waiting to do that. Like Pluto's orbit, something like that. And then saying I. And
yeah, exactly. Like, it could have just
be like,
yeah.
what?
It would have still gotten weird when wakes up out of the coma, but, like, you know,
yes.
Yeah, this could have gone slightly differently. But anyway, that's not where we are. So, but to your point, May keeps having these conversations with Ai where she slips the pretense and is talking to Ai, not but Ai has no idea that that's what they're talking about, because Ai is always like, oh my god, she loves my sister. So May explains, listen, we had a huge fight. You left and we're like, fuck you, May. And then you came back, and May continues, but talking to Ai, where she says, I'd always wait for you. Ai. Because, yeah, she's been waiting for Ai specifically to show up, and she's like, I knew you'd come back, because, like, Pluto has to complete its orbit, you know? That's just science.
So, my heart. If only I knew that May was saying this to her as Ai. Because there is a moment where she seems to forget and believe that May is saying this about her. Like, you kind of see that just, like, melting of, oh, someone waited for me, someone wants me. But also, side note, again, May is blind. She can't see you molassesing your way to kiss her. Because, like, she goes to kiss her, and then it takes so long. I'm like, first of all, what is she supposed to think? She's just standing there. Again, if these two would just be honest with each other, we would not be in this damn mess. But although it's frustrating, this journey is very exciting.
It's entertaining. But yeah, let's okay, so let's get into the scene. So I'm glad you brought up all that. So I think the thing for I in this scene and the reason she forgets about the stuff is that she doesn't understand May is talking about her, obviously, because no one tells her anything, so how could she? But I think what she feels in this scene is the love behind what May is saying. So, because that's the thing that got her with the kiss, right? She's like, I just felt this immense amount of love coming from May in that moment. And that's what I respond to, because love is the thing she's seeking. So when she has it right in front of her and it's directed at her because she's cosplaying I think it was really easy for I to just get sucked into that moment immediately. Like immediately. There was like, you just see her just like shed the disguise and just like, like you see that on her face, right, happening, where she's just like, oh my god, all this love, I can't handle it. And I think that's why and if you watch her, she gravitates into May's space and is like begging May to kiss her with her body language, which again, she can't see because she's fucking blind eye, but like you just see it where I's like, can you please just kiss me? Like the way she like just succumbs to this moment, so hardcore. And what's really remarkable about the scene is the way May took this moment where I's essentially confused about the relationship, the rings, and basically steered this conversation and the whole interaction in such a way that I was fully captivated by her, to the point where she forgot she's cosplaying And to me, like, that's just the power that May has. She makes I feel loved. And I wants to be loved so badly that she lets it consume her entirely in these moments. And it's really a crime that May can't see I's face, because if she could, the show would be over. So instead of kissing her, May pivots at the last second and hugs I. And I is disappointed in the most hilarious way, because she's in her head. I love this voiceover. It's so funny. She's like, shit. Because she wanted to kiss her. Like, she was like begging May to kiss her, and then gets a hug. And she's like, God damn it. It's so funny.
But this is also like breaking her from the daydream of actually being with May.
Totally.
And definitely not May's
so funny.
Intentions in this moment. But
okay, let's talk about May's intentions, because I was wondering, I'm like, why did May do this? That's kind of interesting. So they're in a hug, right? And the first shot is obviously I being disappointed she didn't get a kiss. So which I getting a kiss motivates her for quite some time going forward, where she's like, I just want another one. It's like the ultimate endorphin, and she's like an addict to this, and it's really funny to watch her. But anyway, then we cut over to May while they're in the hug. And if you watch May closely, like, May does not let herself linger in this hug. The most she does is let her chin touch I's shoulder. She's like hugging I, and then she kind of like goes to nuzzle, but doesn't. She just like lets her chin touch I's shoulder. And if you watch when May moves to break the hug, like get out of I's space, she like flinches and hesitates a little. And I think that that's film's way of showing us that like May desperately wants to linger in this moment with I and like have this physical contact with her. But I think that at this stage, May is concerned about the first aid flirting incident and how that spooked I, and she went to get something in her car, air quote, all night. So I think May is very conscious about how she's going to approach the second interaction with I. And although she kissed her yesterday pretty hardcore, I think she's like, maybe I should take it slow now so I don't scare I away. Because, like, I isn't and I haven't been with her for years, you know, or whatever. Like, this is all brand new to I, actually. So I can't let myself get sucked into this thing that I want. I have to take I into consideration and I's behaviors.
And she can't lose her again.
Absolutely. And May is definitely not going to let that happen. So May, who's now in her feels after hugging I, like speaks directly to I yet again in that coded language she uses, where she asks again, promise you're not going to leave me, which is the second time she's asking this of I specifically, and then follows it up with like, I want you, only you. And I think that I really struggles at this stage too to separate her feelings from May and then the mission, because she hesitates before asking, well, why do you want to get back together with /me, right? Because at this point, I has more questions than answers about and May. Like, why the fuck were they fighting? Why did ask May to leave? Why did ask May to leave? Like, if hated May, why did she ask me to break up with her after she got married? Like, why is this happening? Is basically I's brain, right?
Still, why did she ask you to break up with her after she got married? That's always going to be the question.
That is always the question. Why? That is still, I'm not satisfied with the answer we get in the show.
Why are we here? Why did we get here?
Yes. How did we get here is I's bottom line right now. And May answers honestly, again, she's talking to I. She says, well, I tried dating someone else, your sister, and it didn't work out. So meaning like, I tried dating but not this I want this this one. It has to be you.
Sorry. And again, we've talked about the fact that she says so much, and it is the part of the language. It's just every time she says brings I out of the plausibility of actually being with May. And it's just sad.
I mean, I is supposed to be here on a mission to break up with this girl, and is just failing so hard at it. Because she doesn't want to. She's like, she just doesn't want to.
At this point, this is not the mission. No. The mission was completed.
The mission is, who the fuck is my sister? That's the new mission. Yeah. And why the fuck did any of this happen?
Can the new mission be, who is Paul?
Seriously.
And all of that.
Who is Paul? So, okay. I takes this response from May as a wake-up call that May loves her sister, to your point, and the love she feels in this moment is meant for So if you watch I's body language, she like drops her head and like looks defeated in a way, because I imagine this whole thing is bringing up unresolved feelings that I has for her sister, where she's been in shadow her entire life, or at least that's what it felt like for I, because I's perception of in this at this point is that is this bright star that people are drawn to, while she's been like neglected in the shadows, essentially, which is ironic because that's how feels about I. Like later on we find out, but in this moment, I's like, it really is you want, not me. Like, I don't know why. She's like, why am I having these feelings? They're not meant for me. And like, she just wants these feelings of love. And it's just like, but it's still not meant for me. It's meant for And that's been her whole life, right? That she's been trapped in that kind of pattern with and envious of because of that.
She wants May to be talking to her.
Correct. She sure does.
She doesn't know that she is.
Correct. Yeah, which is the irony of the whole thing. May is talking to her about her. And May's like, all right, new tactic. So she pulls the cute card and is like, please, pretty please, pretty please. And the cuteness and the smile on May's face like flips the switch in I, because I just starts grinning like a fool. She's like, I can't say no to the cute puppy. Oh my God.
You can't say no to a puppy.
You cannot. I is incapable. So I accomplishes nothing for the mission in that scene other than, I guess May's still blind and more questions about May and relationship. So was that a successful mission? Who knows?
We have to say, every time she has a conversation with May, that's always the outcome. She doesn't have any more information.
She doesn't learn anything. She just has more questions. Exactly.
That's every episode.
Literally. So
we have more questions.
So then I, at some point, leaves Maze, goes to visit in the hospital, and is like talking out loud to her sister in the coma. And she's like, girl, what the fuck happened with you and May? Like, what the fuck happened? That is the thing that's plaguing her. And then she's like, did May have something to do with your coma? And the short answer is yes. But not in the way you're going to go about this, girl. All right. So that's going to be a question for the next like episode or so. So anyway, I leaves the hospital and goes home and walks in on Mima, who's distraught over condition, and she's devoting all her time and energy into caring for when she's at the hospital, and then like praying for and making merit when she gets home, when she's at home. And I walks in when Mima is begging the gods above to take her life in exchange for And I gets triggered in this massive way when she hears this. But to be fair, literally everyone, even Mima, is also triggered. Everybody's triggered in this scene. Just I has an emotional outburst is what happens. But this is all GMMTV's fault because both of these women in the scene have lost loved ones, being I's parents, due to an accident. That doesn't happen in the novel. GMMTV threw it in here because they need a body count for every show. All right, so these are two women who have lost very significant people. I lost her parents, and Mima lost one of her children. I'm not sure if this is maternal grandmother or paternal grandmother. Not sure. So in this scenario, we are talking about these two losing okay? And for I's perspective, she's like, okay, that's you're all the family I have left, and to lose you for is really triggering. But like from grandmother's perspective, it's also triggering because Mima is the person who was tasked with taking care of these twins when the parents died. And in that task, she's supposed to be taking very good care of and here's in critical condition in the hospital, and she may never wake up again, right? That was the scene with the doctor. So like, we don't know if she's gonna wake up and come out of this okay. Like, we don't know. She might just be a vegetable and pass away in this hospital. So that's weighing really heavily on the caregiver who's like, wow, I failed massively. Like, you were the good kid and look what happened to you. And like, I gotta do everything I can to help you because I'm failing. But I takes this as a personal attack that the grandmother, her one living relative, loves her sister so much that she's willing to sacrifice her life for And that's a level of love and devotion that I feels like she's never had and has never felt before. And I think that's the thing that triggers her the most. It's that love coming from Mima directed at where I's like, wow, no one has ever loved me like that.
It's the jealousy because she has seen them be closer, and it's we see a later episode that it's just because is back more with grandma and I is on the streets still taking care of herself because they all have their own roles that they've given themselves in this family because they haven't gone to therapy to learn how to communicate with each other. And the big thing is I knows in her mind that if it was her, this situation would be very different. And she starts to say that if it was me, and it's just the pain of seeing I upset.
Oh my God.
Because she knows in her mind that Mima wouldn't be as upset if it was her instead of it's heartbreaking. And it's not entirely true. But that's how I feels because of how they grew up. And that is valid. Because it doesn't matter what Mima intended for her to feel. This is how she's feeling. So it's because this is how she's feeling, it's really up to Mima to convince her that that is not true. Which that doesn't happen right now. But at least she wasn't say take and take I instead of because that would have been really bad.
Holy fuck. Yeah, that would be dark, GMMTV. No, she's not saying that.
It does say to the point where like she does care about I and doesn't want harm for her as well. Because there are definitely grandmothers / parents that would wish it was their other kid. And I mean that in Thai girl love shows.
Yeah, playing favorites is unfortunately a thing that happens in family dynamics. And that's how I feels about her family situation at this point. So to see Mima react like this and be like, I'm going to go away forever, depriving I of her grandmother for was super triggering. She's like, I got to lose somebody else because of Like, that was super triggering for her. So shout out to Namtam and her single tear that she has before she exits this scene. Like, good job, ma'am. That was masterful acting. Love it. So I obviously is devastated. She's super triggered, devastated. I don't think she hears out the grandmother at all. I don't think Mima gets a word in. Mima's also devastated. So I think I just fucks off and goes for a ride on her motorcycle. And later on in the series, I reveals that she goes on motorcycle rides to escape her life. Like, she describes it as like, well, the noise of the motorcycle, the engine, and the wind, it drowns out her thoughts. So I think what happened here is that she's very triggered in the scene with Mima, and the house maybe being there was feeling oppressive and, triggering, and she feels really unloved in this moment, which is the big gaping wound in her heart essentially for years. So she's like, I'm going to go on a joyride and clear my head, basically. Because when we watch her when she's driving, we get a couple of scenes of her on the motorcycle, and like she's still crying, she's sobbing while she's driving this motorcycle, which is probably super dangerous. She probably shouldn't be doing this, but here we are.
Yeah, not a good idea to be emotional and driving.
Right. So I'm convinced that was her motivation for getting on the bike, was I'm going to clear my head. And I think that maybe she was just driving aimlessly as a way to clear her head, and I think she just wound up at Maze. I don't think the intention was to go to Maze. I think she was just driving, and at some point, either she made the decision or subconsciously she ended up at Maze, I think. Because I don't think the ride itself was alleviating the pain. Because when she gets to Maze, she's still sobbing. I think she was just like, my normal therapy is not working. Let me go somewhere where I can feel loved. And so she ends up at Maze, which is slowly becoming her new safe haven, essentially.
It's the first place where she does feel seen, even though she's pretending to be someone else.
Yeah, so notice she doesn't go to Ping, her best friend. She ends up at May's house because she feels super unloved and she wants to feel loved. So she goes here. And we cut in with May opening her bedroom door. So I gets led into the house, ends up at May's room. I'm assuming she's like, where is it? And the maid's like, oh my God, here. Left her.
Do you not remember the first aid tour?
I love all this fan fiction about the maid. I mean, it's our fan fiction. What's the maid doing in this episode off screen? That'll be my off screen.
Yeah, what's the maid doing off screen?
What's the maid doing off screen? Judging /I the whole time. But anyway, so May opens the door and she's really happy that I surprised her. She's like, because again, this was not planned. I just ended up here. So May's like, I'm surprised you're here. And I imagine you came out of the blue because either you missed me, I'm hoping it's that one, or you're super upset about something. That would be, so for me or for you, I'm not sure why you're here. And I have to point out, when we get the medium shot of the two of them, shout out to GMMTV and their masterful product placement, because we get the Pluto candles in the shot, the ones they sell later. So good job, everyone. It's right there on display. Coming to some kind of raffle from us soon. You can win one of these candles if you want one. Follow us on social media. Just plugging that here. Because we still don't know how we're doing
Big Gay Energy Pod.
Big Gay Energy Pod.
Every single social media platform.
Literally everywhere.
Except Blue Sky, which is at biggayenergypod.bsky.social, because you have to add that on there.
You sure do. So, merch giveaway coming from us. These are the candles. Okay, so May is being cute. And she's like, oh, why are you here to see me? You miss me so much? And then doesn't say anything. She just sniffles because she's still crying. She's been crying the whole time this has been going on. Which, honestly, that sound tips May off. And she's like, okay, you're here because you're upset. She doesn't say that, but she hears it. So then May, without saying anything, gets into I's space and starts to comfort her. Because May understands now, okay, I is here because she wants support and doesn't know how to approach this. Because again, I has never asked for love from another person before in this context. So I don't think I knows what to do. She's just upset, sad, needs love, and is just frozen in place and just crying. So May is the one that has to make the first move here, and she's the one that reaches for I. And I, as always, is watching May, and if you watch I's face, like she's looking at May with this type of like desperation written all over her face, because she just needs to be loved in this moment and supported. And the real breaking point for I, when she like really like all her emotions come out, is when May touches her face to like wipe away her tears, which is again a very like supportive gesture for this moment and very intimate. And that's when I breaks down, and May pulls I into a hug to reassures I like, it's okay, I'm here for you, basically, because this is not an moment. I is here not because of the mission. I is here because I needs May in this moment. And so she's in such a vulnerable spot that in this whole sequence we're going to see this scene and the scene in the bedroom, I is I in this moment. She's not being She's not thinking about She's so upset. She's I, and I came here to be I. Okay, so when she hears I'm here for you, I believes May is here for her, because what she does is she clings onto May with this like death grip, because yeah, she needs somebody in this moment that sees her and is here for her, not for because she just escaped her house where grandma is like, oh my God, and I's like, what about me? I'm spiraling and no one can see that. Nobody cares. So she goes to this person that's going to give her undivided attention and support. And like, I wonder if she got in there, I was like, oh man, she's going to make this about May does not do that. May recognizes I is upset, not and limits the talk and makes it about I, because that's what I needs in this moment. So,
and somehow,
yeah,
even with just meeting each other that one time, May has such a great read of I to know exactly what she needs.
Yeah, right. It goes both ways. Like the minute I was with May and was like, oh, right, you're blind. No more nodding. I need to make noise and do all these things. Got it. I'll do whatever you need. Like, they're very good at picking up what the other one needs very quickly. Because, like, in a way, like, yes, they met once when they were younger, but they're different people now as adults. So, like, even for May, she's meeting I all over again. Like, kind of for the first time in a different way. Because this is adult I. Adult I is a different person. So, they are still trying to get to know each other in kind of a way. And all of that to really say, this scene is really significant between the two of them, because nobody is pretending. Like, I's not pretending to be and May is not offering to play the game here. She's hugging I and supporting I in this moment. So, like, it's one of their first interactions when nobody's pretending, like neither of them, which is pretty significant already in episode 1.
They were not hiding the fact that these two were meant to be together.
Well, no. Gotta establish that.
I mean, May has tried to establish the fact that she's blind, but I don't think I fully comprehends all the time, because she still stands there and doesn't tell her what's going on and how she's feeling. But at least this time, the silence, May does seem to know her so well that she's like, oh, she's upset. She's here randomly.
She can hear her sniffling, too.
Yeah.
So, like, and then feels the tears. So, like, she knows I's crying.
Well, when she gets there, yeah.
Yeah. When she gets there.
To her. I mean, in the very beginning.
Yeah.
She says nothing. Okay. But then we continue, and it's Pal Sleepover Time.
Woot woot! Best time of the day.
So when I walks into the room, May is already in bed, and she holds out her arms so wide for her.
This is so cute.
But instead of taking the cuddle from the pretty lady and saying yes to the puppy, I says she's good now. So I says no to the puppy because she needs therapy right now.
It's just, yeah, like, May is a ball of sunshine in this scene, and if you watch her throughout the whole scene, is so awkward. It's adorable. It's fucking adorable, but she's so awkward in this scene. Like, when she walks into the room, she's like, I don't know what to do in this scenario. Like, she has no idea what to do as let alone, quote, who's supposed to be cosplaying. I doesn't know what the fuck to do in this scene, and it's really obvious she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. So she's just so awkward. But yeah, so she turns down the puppy because she's like, I don't know what to do in this scene. Because really, why is I here? I is here because she's touch starved. And she love starved. And so she comes here, and then she's like, okay, now we're in pajamas, and I'm supposed to get into bed with you. I don't know what to do. So she just like declines the additional support. Because I think the other thing for I is she came here when she was bawling, right? And didn't have the words to express herself and just needed a hug, basically. And she gets the hug, she stopped crying, and now she's like, May, I don't need extra support, because in her mind, I was like, I stopped crying, so like no one's obligated to comfort me anymore. Because again, as we mentioned earlier, like I doesn't know what to do with people when they offer her support without her asking, because she came here basically like silently asking May for help, and now May's like, more hugs please, and I was like, but I'm not crying, you're not obligated to do that anymore. And it's like, girl, May just wants to touch you, like full stop. There doesn't need to be a context, but I doesn't understand that yet.
You contrast this with when she went to Pang earlier for support with her problem, and Pang just made it worse and frustrated her.
That's the support she has.
That's what she's used to.
That's her support system.
No wonder she's like, what is this?
So funny.
Someone who cares about my feelings?
Pang. Oh my god. Yeah, that is a really funny comparison. Pang. Oh my god.
But I is definitely not good right now, no matter what she says. Because now she has to navigate sharing a bed with her sister's should-be ex and her current can't-be lover.
Yeah. Again, I is so fucking awkward in this scene. So May, who knows it's I, and knows this is weird, probably, and doesn't want to spook I because she'll just go get something in her car for the next 2 days, right? May has that in her brain. She's like, all right.
However long.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Like, it could be longer this time.
So May's like, okay, let me not spook I, because I's probably, like, nervous. May's also nervous because she's about to share a bed with I. So, like, this is nerve-wracking for everybody. So she, without saying anything, like, after I's like, I don't need a hug, we're good, May, like, lays down. And if you notice, she turns on her side facing away from I. Okay? Because I think she does this as, like, an invitation without pressure to be like, you can get in the bed if you want to or not. I'm just going to look away, because she knows this is very fragile, what's happening with her and I at this moment. And again, is worried about spooking I, especially because I came here tonight in a state of vulnerability, like really, really vulnerable. So she knows I is fragile.
And May knows not to take advantage of vulnerability.
Yes, May does know that. May likes consent when it comes to physical intimacy. Good job, May.
As we all should.
As we all should. Good job, May, for the bare minimum. We applaud you. So, yeah. So anyway, in this scene, by laying down like this, May is basically giving I space to do whatever she's comfortable with and not coercing I into something that makes her uncomfortable, basically.
I is still uncomfortable.
Yes.
But not like that. She's just uncomfortable because she has no idea what to do.
Right.
But she does eventually get into bed after trying to be as dainty as possible to get on the bed. Like, she's trying to take up the least amount of room, not be too aggressive with it. I don't know what she's doing.
It's so
but she's
awkward.
trying not to disturb the bed. And as soon as I gets into the bed, May's eyes shoot open. And it's like this is something that is not usual for to do. But let's go back to the fact that May does know that this is I, which makes the reaction weirder. So I'm thinking she's thinking, I can't believe this is actually happening.
Yeah. I have a read on this from May's point of view. So let me get into that, because like I agree with what you're saying. I think there's a lot of nuance to just I getting into the bed. Like, just that is of course, good job GMFTV. Even this was complicated to untangle. So awkward as fuck I, to your point, creeps into the bed next to May. And I think May feels the bed dip because, like, you know, when a weight goes on a mattress, you can kind of feel that. And this is somebody who's blind and more inclined with her other senses. So what happens is her eyes shoot open when she gets into the bed, right? Like you said. And they don't just stay open. They kind of like do this shot where they show you May, right? And I from like May's angle. Then they cut over to I, kind of like this over the shoulder situation, but it's like eyes like getting comfortable. And then you watch May, and May's face is like taking up a lot of the frame, and you watch her eyes flutter like a million times. Okay.
A lot.
While I is situating herself. And I think that this is showing, I think this film's way of showing us that May is just as nervous about this as I is. Because May is trying to be all like, whatever, we've been dating for a while, allegedly. But like, they haven't, and this is May's first time getting into a bed with I, and she doesn't know what I's gonna do. So she's like, oh my god, what is gonna happen? And then I, on the other hand, is, oh my god, what am I supposed to do? Like, you know, everybody's a gay disaster in this scene, but nobody can show the other one they're a gay disaster because they're trying to be other people or in other mindsets. So it's just really funny to watch this scene. Honestly, it's hilarious.
Wow,
Especially
May is a
I.
mental gay disaster.
I
I
so
is
funny.
the physical gay disaster.
I know.
Because she
I love
continues to move in on the bed and hesitantly, in the weirdest way possible,
so
puts
awkward.
her hand on May's shoulder. Like this, if you're watching. I'm just like hovering for the people listening. And
funny. It's so funny.
like as she lays behind May, and it's like she doesn't know if she can like fully just wrap her arms around her, you know, like a normal person. And like now it's May's turn to fully gay panic, while I is apologizing for rejecting her earlier. Because you apologize if you reject the puppy. And May smiles as I continues to get closer to her. She's starting to settle into the gay.
Can we just like really appreciate how adorably awkward I is when she was approaching May? Because she's never done this before. So like honestly, it took a lot of
with anybody.
Never. So honestly, this took a lot of courage for I to even attempt to like cuddle with May. So the way she's just so awkward about it and just like, should I? Shouldn't I? Should I? Shouldn't I? So I wonder, like, why did I do this? Like, I wonder if she was initiating this move to go cuddle May, because I wonder if she's like, is this what would do? You know, I mean, this is what people who are dating do, right? Or was that her motivation? Or was she like, I kind of want to cuddle May, and like did it because she wanted to?
I think it's probably that this is what dating people do, because May is more of the I want to be as close as possible to you. I wants the kiss. But May's like, let me hold you.
I mean, we're about to learn in this whole scene that I's a cuddle monster. We're about to learn that, okay? May is about to come to that realization that I's a very cuddly person. So I wonder if this is partially her. Because, like, okay, we've established that I doesn't really know So even if she was under the assumption this is what would do, I would have to project, in a way, what she personally would want in this situation in order to do this. And so I think low-key I did this because she wanted to, like, be closer to May versus, like, this is what people do.
I mean, it's all plausible.
Yeah. I think a little bit of I is creeping out in this scene, that's all. And yeah, and then, Disaster I. And I get the impression that May does learn something new about I, which is that she's extremely cuddly and clingy. And I assume that this is direct contrast to Okay? I assume was never like this. And like, she's like, oh, I is cuddly. Because why would she know that from their first interaction? Because again, May is learning things about I that she didn't know. And she's like, oh my god, okay, she's all cuddly and shit. And yeah. So then they get in this cuddle position, and when I was kind of wondering like what I was really like apologizing before? Was she apologizing because she left May, or is she apologizing for like herself and her sister's dumbassery? Just this is a general apology for this whole situation. May, we're the worst.
I just assumed it was her not like accepting the hug earlier, but it's fair to
It could be that too. There's a lot to apologize
assume
for.
that it's layered.
Yeah.
This
so
show,
much.
there's like endless possibilities, and you'll never know what actually is going through their head.
That's part of the fun.
Yes. Okay, but then May drops this bomb on I that they've never shared a bed before, and it makes I shoot up. Dainty out of the question now, and I fully think she was talking to I here, especially when she says, "Why do you sound so surprised? Like, we haven't seen each other." She doesn't say we haven't seen each other, but yeah.
I mean, that's fair. This whole thing was weird. So, like, before we get to that, May does this thing where she's like, I'm uncomfortable right now, or whatever. And I, the gentlewoman that she is, like, the second May says she's uncomfortable, I, like, releases her hold on May, like she just touched a hot stove or something, and is like, oh, wait, do you not like being cuddled? Because that's what I was I assumed that's what I want. I just assumed. May's like, no, it's not that. It's not that. It's just that we've never shared a bed before. And then that's when I's like, what the fuck? Because again, we're coming off the realization that we found the engagement ring photos. And then she's like, what the fuck was their like, seriously, what the fuck was their relationship? What do you mean? I think I spent a great deal of judging and she's like, what the fuck were you doing in this relationship that, like, you gave her an engagement ring or whatever and never shared like, what was the relationship? Like, this was wild after coming off the cusp of those rings, right? Like, seriously, what the fuck was that? Because to get to a ring sharing stage on the ring finger means you're in a serious relationship. So, like, what the fuck were they doing? Like, it's just so weird.
Especially when she knows so little and she thought she had a handle on their relationship. Like, oh, they were really happy. It was serious. And now she's like, none of it, that's not even true. Like, what is even going on?
Right. What's crazy is that it seems like in the past 48 hours, I has gotten more action with May than ever did, which is insane. Like, what is this relationship? It's just...
Was
it's wild.
Truly into May?
So here's the deal, like, though. Like, again, if you read the novel, this was all really fucking weird because in the novel, and May dated for 4 years. 4. And definitely did more than sleep in a bed together. So, like, I think this was GMMTV's way of family drama-ing this by being like, no, and May never did anything. Whereas they did in the novel. In the novel, that wasn't even a question. This was weird for again, more questions for of like, what the fuck is going on here?
Who knows? I feel like she's still gonna be like thinking about these things, even though now, like, she knows everything, but she's like, still, that's so weird.
It's so weird. It's still weird.
Okay. And then May snaps I out of her suspicion by asking if she wants her to tell her a bedtime story.
This was cute.
And I says she isn't a child, but May reminds her that, reminds I of what she is doing by asking, then who was the crying child who came seeking my consolation? And that is a loaded question because who is she? Because she just said, who was the crying child? And she has to face the fact that she is lying to this person that she is coming closer to. Every interaction, like, just reminds her that she's lying. And for both of them, though, that's going to be recurring for them until they finally just talk.
Yeah, and all of that is going on. And then also, from I's point of view, like when May says, oh, well, who is the crying child that came here? Basically, who came here looking for me to hug them, basically. You notice I gets really dejected when May asks her this, because I think this is another telling instance of I reflectively rejecting emotional support again, because she's not used to it. Because her response is, no, I'm not a kid. You don't need to like keep supporting me. I'm not crying anymore, you know? It's that like defensiveness that I think comes from her like feeling like she was on her own for so long. But then again, here comes May, who's she persists, even though I says no, or like you don't have to, basically, because like she genuinely wants to support I, which is really sweet. And that genuine, the way she genuinely like tries to support I think breaks through. It's that genuineness and that actual like that love that's the undercurrent of May's actions, I think, is what gets to I more than any of the coded language and anything else. It's like the feelings behind May's actions and words, I think, really speak to I more than anything.
And she tells I that she can be vulnerable or childish around her. Like, she tries to convince her, like, it's okay to be yourself with me. And again, I think this is part of her wanting I to be I.
Yes.
Just stop pretending to be your sister. I need you to do it first, so I'm not influencing anything.
Yeah.
But right now, it does kind of seem like they're both fine, just living in this happiness bubble where they can kind of be together and not have to face the fact that they are both lying, because then it's just it's a whole layer that they would have to work through. So right now it's like, okay, well, we could just forget about that for a second and just be happy.
Yeah. No, it's true. I think they both actively shed the deception where they can. And so I think with I, again, she's somebody who I get the sense isn't willingly vulnerable around many people. And so once May points that out, where she's like, you know, you can just feel what you're feeling and show me, like you said, I gets really quiet. And I think I, in this scene more than the previous ones, is being more of herself than, again, the cosplay. So I think that in that aspect, she feels more vulnerable with May in this scene, because she came here as I, asking for support as I. And so it's even more like she's unguarded in a different way that I don't think she is with anybody else, or has been in a really long time. So that makes this harder for I.
Because she didn't put the mask on when she got there.
Yeah, exactly. And even when she's with her friends, she's very like, you know, she I think she puts on a different persona when she's with her friends. It's like she's kind of like a tough guy and that kind of stuff. And then here she is with May, and she came crying just as herself. And then she's like, oh God, yeah, you did just see me do that. And May's like, it's okay, basically validating her emotions. And she does the thing again that made I crack in the first place, which is she touches her face again. And in this moment, I think really just like accepts May's sincerity, and just she cusps like May's hand and like leans into it. So she's accepting that comfort and that support that's there for her. And I think that was another big moment for I, because like, this is what makes the May thing really addictive, because she's like, this is what I actually want, right? And you're offering me this like unconditional love, basically, in this moment. And she don't think she feels that from anybody else at this point in her life. Whether it's there or not, that's another story, but I don't think I feels it is the thing. So then she's like, okay, read me a bedtime story. So May reads her this story that reads like a fable. So it's like about rabbits, and they live in this forest, and then a sloth shows up, interestingly, and then they become friends or whatever. And that's like basically the fable.
We called it Zootopia.
Yeah, it's like a child Zootopia, basically. And we get another candle spotting for those who are looking for the Pluto candle. So yes, it's there for product placement, but there's a point to this scene, not just to sell you the candles, because they do this wide shot where you get like May and I in the bed, and then there's books, a stack of books, and there's the Pluto candle. So why do we get this scene? Or at least a shot. I think that later on, I think this was on purpose, because later on we learn that May, on her own, likes stories and likes novels, okay? And we get this scene where and May are in the library, like prior to all this happening, like flashback. And I think picks up one of the books that May has, and it's like, oh, you like stories too? And May's like, yeah, no, I love them. And admits that she likes novels also, but she only likes them because her sister likes them. So we get a glimpse that I also independently really like stories. And so I think May knew this because she filed this away about I. And this was one of the first times in that scene where lets it drop she has a sister. So this is one of the first things May learns about I. And I think in anticipation of I coming back, because like she told the maid, she'll be back, don't worry. I think she put these books out in the room for I to find, maybe as a conversation starter, to be like, oh, look, we have this in common. So I think she placed these in the room for I to find, because May can't read them right now. May's been blind for a couple of years. I think they're here for I to find on her own.
Unless they're Braille books. But I don't think they're thick enough for that.
I don't think so. I don't see Braille on the cover of this book that we're seeing. Yeah. I think she planted these for I.
No, I highly doubt it that they are. But yeah.
So, and I think also that is the main reason why May offers to tell this bedtime story, because she knew I would like this. So this is a way of like May sharing an interest with I without I realizing that that's what May is doing. And it's also worth noting that as May is like reciting this story, she's not even like reading it, she's reciting it. I is clinging in this like little cuddly position the entire time, because this is really what I wanted more than anything. So it's really cute the way this whole execution of this goes down.
And boy, does she stay there.
She sure does.
The whole night.
Poor May.
They don't even separate by accident. No, the next morning, May is awake, just staring at I, sleeping in her arms. And this is probably the best I has ever slept in her life.
Probably for I, but like I is sleeping on May's arm, and she's been sleeping on May's arm. How is her arm not dead the next morning? Poor May. It must be asleep.
May's like, I will take this. I have been waiting years for this. Yes. I will be here until she's ready to get up.
May's like, no pain, no gain in this scene.
That's love, bitch.
That's love, bitch. Exactly. Okay, so we come into the scene, like you said, when May is awake, I's still asleep. And I is like starting to wake up, but she's still asleep. So you gotta love that I, asleep, adjusts herself by snuggling back into May. Like, that's just what because like, again, this is just I asleep. So this is no whatsoever. This is just I showing her hand that she's like, yes, I want to cuddle into your warmth. And May is just like beaming, because like literally, to your point, she's waited actual years for this. And like, here it is. She has the person she wants. She's being all cute and shit. And what a win for May.
To your point, this is the most vulnerable she could be in, because when you're asleep, you're defenseless.
Uh-huh.
And she's staring at her. That was always like the last thing. I was like, I don't want anyone to look at me sleeping. So like, yeah, she's even just like staring at I. And you know what? Good for her, because I's doing the same to her. Not that she's staring at her.
I know, she can't see, but you know.
But you know,
parallels.
she's relishing in the fact that she can hold on to her without I really knowing that she, like, what's going through her head.
Yeah, and if you notice, again, Queen of Consent May. May is not, like, touching I or, like, playing with her hair. Or
kissing her.
Yeah, disturbing her sleep, kissing her, whatever. She's just laying there enjoying being with I, and I's the one who makes the move to be like, there's too much space between us. I don't like this. As she's asleep, because I is a cuddle monster, and May gets all the confirmation that like, okay, I love a cuddle monster. That's fun. But I did not mean to show her hand like that. So when she actually wakes up and she's like, oh shit, my head is buried in her neck. Gay panic, like immediately gay panic, like all the relaxing is gone. And you see her like cling to the sheets like she's about to like jump out of there like an Olympic like medalist, like get the fuck out of this bed. Because I think she just fell asleep listening to the story, and then that was it. And she's like, shit, what do I do now? I didn't mean to be in her bed right up against her. What the fuck? I'm supposed to be And so May is like, senses the panic that's happening here and is like, okay, Ai's not relaxed anymore. I feel her being tense and she's swallowing and oh my God. So she's like, okay, let me pivot this situation. So May's like, do you need more comfort? Do you need to relax, Ai? Because I get the sense that you do. What can I possibly do to help you with that? And Ai freezes because she's like, is May gonna kiss me? Because I kind of want her to. Wait, no, I shouldn't want her to kiss me. She's like, what is she gonna do? What is she? She just panics because she's like, what is she gonna do? How is she gonna do this? So May does a little. May, who doesn't know where Ai is really, is like does like a forehead kiss. And it's really cute because like Ai closes her eyes and like savors this thing that's happening. It's really sweet because it's just, she's so touch starved. It's so sad. And May's like, that was fun. Let me do something else. You still not convinced? Because Ai hasn't said a goddamn word to the blind woman. So May's like, let me do something else. So May then goes for the lip kiss and Ai's like, oh my God. I'm good, May. I'm good, May. I'm Oom's awake. Okay? Oom's awake. Because Ai's like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, because she wasn't. She was just being herself. And that's how we get here.
She conveniently just stay silent a lot.
Yeah, evade the question. What are you, Big Nung? You're just like, I won't say anything. I will confirm or deny nothing. But Ai's more of a gentlewoman than Big Nung. So she apologizes. She's like, hey, I'm really sorry. I like bombarded you with my sadness last night and then stayed here like a child. And May's like, no, we're good. You're not a burden. Like, I'm glad. May assures her, she's like, I'm really glad you thought about me when you needed help. Like, that's a good thing that you did that. And again, like, I was not expecting to hear that because no one's ever told her that before. And I think, again, Ai is now in brand new territory with May, and this is something she desperately wants. So you, like, her guard comes down when May says that. Like, I'm here to support you. I'm glad you did that. Please come to me anytime. Like, that's what I'm here for. Like, all the little wall she was frantically building a second ago, like, all starts crumbling down again. And then May goes in for a hug because she's like, cool, you're relaxed again. But unfortunately, Jan twat blocks everybody in the scene by calling Ai. And Ai's like, I gotta go, May. Oom's gotta go. So she quickly leaves the scene to take this phone call. And May's face is pretty unreadable when she's kind of leaving because she's like, what is Ai doing? But you know what? Don't panic, May. It's gonna be fine. Smile. She might be able to see you. I don't know. Poor May.
Just smile.
Smile, May. So smile and wave. So Ai quickly gets the fuck out of there to take the phone call. First of all, I love her first words to Jan, which is that she's annoyed. She's like, bitch, I'm busy. Like, I was on the mission, Jan. She was about to hug and maybe make out with May. And she's like, I'm busy, Jan. What the fuck? It's so funny. She's such a liar. A bad one, but you know. So Jan is like, shut up, I have important news about And basically that she's like, I found out that Paul received this phone call from an unknown number the night of the accident, like around the time that it happened, which is super suspicious that maybe this car crash was intentional and not an accident. And in the translation...
Is this not Pang?
Huh?
Is this not Pang?
This is Jan.
Okay, I thought it was... Sorry, continue.
No, this is Jan. Jan tries to be a detective. Pang is dating the detective. This is Jan.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was her to know. Yeah.
This is Oom's best friend who's invested in what happened to Oom. So the translation threw me off the first time because it says that like an unfamiliar number called Paul's phone just before they rushed out of the hotel. And like the hotel word threw me off because when just watching this episode on its own, I was like, oh, okay, so Paul and Oom left the wedding venue, which a hotel, you know, has wedding venues because they're big grand places. And that's kind of what it looked like from the exterior shot we get. So I was like, oh, they rushed out of the wedding. But that's not actually what happened. Like later we find out that like Paul and Oom went home and then get this phone call, and then that they left their home together. So like the translation threw me off the first time. It's like not a big deal, but also, if you read the novel, you will have a very different take on what's happening here by just hearing all this stuff, because the way that went down in the novel is wild, and I'll talk about it when we get there. But anyway, the big sentiment we're left from is like, okay, well, what if this is intentional, this wasn't an accident? That means that somebody hated and Paul enough to try and kill them, or, you know, take them out, essentially. So, like, who would be their enemy? And, like, I is thinking about this and then finds a photo of May in May's home and is like, oh shit, what if it's May, who is, you know, the side piece of And so we're left on that question when the first episode ends. So, like, the mystery is still mysterying in Pluto.
As it will be.
As it will be for quite some time.
Episodes on end.
All right, so that concludes episode 1 of Pluto. Before we wrap this up, I think it's time to talk about what Taylor Swift songs we think fit this episode. And since this episode really centers a lot around I meeting May for, like, quote, the first time, and how that changes literally everything in everybody's lives because it's Pandora's box opening, I think Taylor Swift song for me that fits this episode is Daylight from the Lover album, because I think it fits both May and I. So, like, in the chorus, I don't want to look at anything else now that I saw you. That's literally I, who can never take her eyes off of May since they meet. Because next line, I can never look away, also I. And then I don't want to think of anything else now that I thought of you, which is May, because back when I changed her life, she was like, Pluto. Like, forever, it was just this girl. And next line is, things will never be the same, because they aren't. And then my favorite line from this is, I've been sleeping so long in a 20-year dark night, now I'm wide awake. And now I see daylight, I only see daylight, which hits both of them a little bit. So, like, I've been sleeping so long in a 20-year dark night, I think that's a lot of, that hits both of them really well, because May has been patiently waiting for I for years. So, like, in the dark, just with this faith that she'd come into contact with her again. And then the 20-year dark night, is May is I not feeling loved, since her and kind of their relationship gets fractured. Like, I never felt love really unconditionally from anybody ever until she comes into contact with May again. So, and now I see daylight. So that's after the kiss, right? The come to lesbian Jesus moment. And, like, literally there's no turning back from that moment. So I think this song hits this episode pretty well.
You're right. It does fit. I love that. I'm having trouble figuring out for certain episodes because of everything so different depending on how you think about it. But overall, I think Mastermind fits the show. I just don't know who the mastermind is. They all think they're the mastermind.
Listen, we know it's not I. I think you can rule I off the mastermind. She's the only one. Does not qualify. Because even when she tries to mastermind, she's bad at it.
I'm leaning towards Pluto's the mastermind.
Which is is everyone's Pluto.
Oh, I meant the planet.
I know you meant the planet, but yes. Also that works too. I think May is the mastermind of this episode, for sure. Because she arranged all of this, basically.
Maybe that's what we could do. Who's the mastermind of this episode?
We could do that. But yeah, Mastermind is a really good one, I think. If you have any thoughts or opinions, what Taylor Swift song fit this episode or this part of this episode, let us know.
We'd love to hear it. And if you're still listening to this 3-hour episode, here is a word that I made up and said once in this episode that I want you to use either in a comment on YouTube, or you can comment on Spotify too, or review somewhere, wherever you can, wherever you want to use this word. Today's secret word is molassesing.
Have fun with that.
Because
why not?
I just does that in every interaction with May instead of speaking.
Time slows down and gets really gay. Speaking of things that get really gay, let's sign out with our Big Gay Energy Award. So what got the Big Gay Energy Award for you this episode?
Sorry, I skipped that. I'm thinking. I'm kind of, well, first of all, Nam Tam, but
Yes. She in general wins that award just by existing.
yeah, the way she was sitting.
The way she was
but
sitting.
Also,
yeah.
Pang being like, why is that a surprise? Like, for
that was funny.
That maze element.
Yeah, that was good. I like that for the Big Gay Energy Award. I have to give it to I and her "Can you please just kiss me now" moment, because that radiated big gay energy and it was not fulfilled.
I mean, it's also big gay energy to immediately fall for a woman that kisses you.
I mean, that was in the other part, but yes, immediately.
Yeah.
Also, like, I being like, how could you judge May and be like, she's evil after you just met her? And Pang's like, why are you defending her after you literally just met her? Also, that whole conversation with Pang is big gay energy. Let's be honest. That whole conversation wins. So,
yeah.
If you have different thoughts about the Big Gay Energy Award, which is like a moment, character, whatever, that just radiates that concept of big gay energy, let us know what you thought. The Pang and I conversation, I think, is a winner. That was a good one. So, anyway.
Yeah, everything at that apartment.
And the apartment.
Right at the end, Ginge. Right at the end, man. Well, I drink half the water I'm supposed to today. Yeah, I was like, right at the end.
I'm sorry.
I was supposed to be like, do you want me just to do it?
I was going to be like, can you just do it? All right, anyway. Okay, so... All right, so that concludes our scene-by-scene breakdown of episode 1 of Pluto. Let us know what you thought in the comments, and we will be back next time to pick up with part 1 of episode 2, and we'll see how far we get. So until next time, hydrate for lesbian Jesus.
And gay up all over the place.
Bye!
Bye!
And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all our other episodes right here on YouTube.
Please like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing super gay content.